What's going on, everybody? This is a Let Me Say It podcast. We are powered by 1990 Studios. We are in 1990 Studios, and with me today, we have a special guest. I was lucky to meet him last week at my family Thanksgiving. He pulled up with my cousin Bradley, Typhoon Sound, who you would have heard in another interview. Mr. Joel NR Powell is in the building. He's an artist, DJ, author, entrepreneur, public speaker, and overall just a great guy. So thank you, Joel, for pulling up to the studio, taking time out of your day, and joining us on the podcast.
Yeah, man, most definitely, man. I'm like, honestly, just honored to be here. Honored to be in the vibe. Honored to this, yeah, man. I was when we linked up, man. It was a nice vibes, man. I know. Shout out to your mom for a nice Thanksgiving outing at her home. Beautiful vibes right across the board. Shout out to my homie. My brother, Father B, Bradley, he knows how it go already, man. You know what I'm saying? Much love to Brad all the time, you know what I'm saying? Because I love that kind of vibe, man. Nice family outing type of thing.
Yeah, no, 100%. I love, I used to have friends that would come over to like family dinners and stuff like that.
Yeah.
We've had a pretty open door policy, if you wanted to invite people. So no, it was fun. It was nice meeting you. I mean, I was having a few pops, so hopefully I didn't embarrass myself, but we're good. But yeah, no, it was awesome. It was great to meet you. And I lucked out because I was thinking I was only going to get one interview in. Next thing you know, you pull up, we start talking, and then you were interested to hop on the pod. And I was like, this is amazing. This is great. Did my research this week, tapped into some of your music, checked out some of your past interviews, trying to get to know who is Joel Powell. But, we obviously got to let the people know and talk about it on this podcast that we're going to do today. I'll talk about the connection with Brad later when we get to that part. Because I want to start from the beginning. You're a man of many hats, man of many talents. From what I've seen, you've always been an entrepreneur. You've always kind of had that mindset of doing your own thing. And I feel like that's something you preach to people nowadays, is doing your own thing, right?
Yeah, most definitely. Yeah.
So we'll start from the beginning.
Okay.
Where you're born in Toronto, Scarborough, whereabouts?
No, in the streets of Compton, California. Okay, that's easy. Sorry. Wrong person. Was it St. Anne's, Jamaica? Okay, that's Bob Marley's life. Okay, forget that. Okay. Okay, my life, yeah. Born and raised, I was born at St. Joseph's Health Center in downtown Toronto. Yeah. 19, can't tell people the year, what, 19. Yeah, I was born in St. Toronto, Ontario, born Canadian. Proud of that, man. Born Canadian, man. Proud of that vibe. Yeah, that's what it all started. April 21st. That's my birthday in downtown Toronto.
Nice.
In the 80s. Yeah, man. St. Joseph Health Center. Yeah. That's when I came up to the world.
And that's where it all started.
Yeah.
Now, so you're a DJ, you're an MC, you're a recording artist, author, all that stuff.
Yeah.
But it seems like music's played a big part in your life. And would you say that was kind of the start of your entrepreneurial journey, or your kind of journey in life in general? Was music the caveat? Were you just drawn to it?
Listen, I'll say it straight up and down. If it wasn't for music, honestly, maybe I would have been one of the biggest bad man Toronto ever saw. Because honestly, music, growing up in the community I grew up in was Jane and Finch, Shoreham, original Jane and Finch neighborhood. Love Shoreham, one of the best neighborhoods I ever lived in, period.
Nice.
But the community itself, it wasn't really the community was the problem. It was more like the outside influences. That if you never had a level head or good parenting or good influences or good mentors, like that, you're into the streets.
Yeah.
Like that. Because unfortunately, when I look back, a lot of everybody who I came up with, that's what they did.
Yeah.
So music from the jump was like that. Music saved my life, kept me out of trouble, and brought me to where I am today. Music. Nice. Music was like boom. Once I got hit with that, never looked back.
Nice.
Never ever looked back.
Yeah, and I know you've referenced. I was listening to some of your past interviews. You referenced your dad getting you into DJing. He used to DJ in the house and stuff.
Yeah. Man.
How important was you were talking about people you don't have people go in different ways. Music saved you, but obviously part of it too was your parents instilling core values in you, right? How big of a role did he play into you now, and also specifically getting into music? Because I heard you talk about it before, but we'd like to share it with the people on the podcast. How important was that, and how did you get into it, and how did he kind of help shape you?
my dad's a rough, tough Jamaican man. And he, honestly, my dad wasn't a professional DJ.
Mhm.
My dad has two trades. He did body work on cars and he did upholstery. Like my dad could make
Oh,
chairs.
shit.
My dad could make a whole chair, like just give him the frame and he put that whole thing together in like maybe under 10 minutes. Like I seen him do it right in front of my eyes. Like, brand new sofa, sell it. Like that's what he would do.
Nice.
I grew up, he did that throughout my whole childhood. So him with the music side was like, that was like a hobby.
Yeah.
Because he from Jamaica, came to Canada in 1976. It was a hobby. He just brought records from Jamaica to Canada and just played to entertain himself.
Yeah.
But the way how he did it is what got me into it. My dad was like, I tell him to this day, it's like, Dad, you know, if you had did this professionally, like Dad, you could have friggin' like, you would have been the catalyst for this before me.
Yeah.
But he said to me, you know, Joel, I wife and kids, I couldn't think about it like that.
Life happens,
you know,
right?
like I was focusing on making sure I make a living to look after you and your sister. So he's like, you know, I didn't think about it like that. But his influence and his records at the time to this day, you know, if I eliminate that part of my life and say, okay, let me pretend that never happened, okay, my life wouldn't be where it is. That's how powerful it was.
Nice.
Because I don't mince words when I say that. His records was like the, okay, look the records, Joel, and there it went. The life just changed. Because I remember my dad would play music to the point that the flooring board in the house used to shake. Like my mom had these little figurines on a wall unit back in the 80s, and pictures are falling off the wall because my dad's bumping the bass like it, and then her and the two of them are arguing about it because my mama put the picture frame back on the wall and back again, and and then she's yelling at him and they're arguing because my dad, because it was like when he turned on that sound system in the house, it was like if you were deaf, you're hearing would just come back in a second because the man would turn on that sound in the house, man, and the music would get like. As a kid, I was like, to this day, I tell him all, I said, Dad, I don't know what about that bass line I don't know where you got it from, but when you set that amplifier, it's like the bass line would ripple.
You feel it.
You'd feel that in your feet.
Yes.
And oh my gosh, this is something you had to experience it. You had to experience that. Because back in the day, no phones and all.
Another one of those moments, you gotta be in the room.
If you never had a big old camcorder or something like that, you couldn't. But if I remember it like it was yesterday when and then you hear the bass line and it's like, oh my God. I mean, I'm having a ball. My mom, the two of them are arguing because stuff are falling off the wall and she's getting man. But that's that part of me. No matter what I do with my life, no matter where I go, no matter how old I get, if it wasn't for that, you wouldn't even be talking to me right now as an interviewer because it was that instrumental. Because it did. Yeah. It was my dad and my mother and father weren't rich to say, oh, give me money to do this, but my dad's records was the key to start the car. Yeah. He said, okay, here you. Like I ran over I used to bother him every chance I got to give it to me. And he's like, nah, can't give that to you. And when I was like 16 years old, he said to me, okay, I'm going to give you something. I'm going to let you borrow some. Borrow, in my words, is, okay then, man, old man, you ain't getting this back. But yeah, I can borrow it. And, he told me when I got older now, he was like, I never gave it to you when you asked me because I didn't want to distract you. Cause he said, Joel, you the way how I see you love music, I was like, by the time, if I gave you them records, you'd probably drop out of school and say you're gonna go play music and that's the end of life right there. So he's like, I didn't want it to take you in that direction. He said, I wanted you to do it at a time when you were smart enough to handle it. Like educated wise. Like you went to school.
He wanted you to be well-rounded.
He wanted me to be well. He wanted me to have balance in my life before he put that, before he said, here. And honestly, at the time, that didn't make no sense.
Yeah, you didn't see it like that.
This guy talking about that. Just give me the damn records, old man. Let's keep this moving. But when I look now, I was like, you know what? Yeah, for real. Like, yeah, he's right. He's actually right.
Well, he knew. I'm sure he knew like how addicting it's gonna be. Like once you touched it, once you heard it, like he's playing it in the house. Like obviously, because you come from him, he knows how he feels about it. And he's like, oh, if I give this guy this too early, he's gonna just be obsessed with this. And just that's what he's gonna focus on. But we need to well-round it till he can like be like, you need to balance yourself out, right?
Yeah.
Because it's easy to just like too much of a good thing. I mean, I don't know how too much of music could be a bad thing.
It can't
be.
Too.
I take that back. It can't be, man.
Yeah.
But that makes sense. That's an interesting way to kind of look at it. Like it's almost like he knew like you're gonna get obsessed with this, and then you're gonna want to not just listen to music. You're gonna want to become a part of it. You're gonna want to, like you are now. It's part of your career, right? It's part of your story. It's part of your entrepreneurship. And he probably saw that from a young age. Like, I feel like as you get older, you realize like with like your parents, like they. At the time, you don't know what they're doing. You don't know why they're doing certain things.
Yeah.
But then as you get older, you're like, okay, I understand now. He knew what I was like. He knew what I was going to do or what I was going to be like before I even had the chance to do it.
Yeah. Because when the years later, when me and him were talking as a grown man, now he was like, Joel, you see what I'm talking about? And he's right. I had to say that, you're right.
It's on record here, so we'll send it to him. So
but no, man, I told him to his face that you're right, because he never thought I would like get myself involved in trouble, but he was like, Joel, you're a young man, you need balance. You need to get yourself to a position where if you want to do that, you can handle it, rather than you throwing your whole life into it, and all of a sudden now before you turn left, you turn right. No, you don't know what else, like you don't, anything goes wrong, then that's it for you. She said you needed to balance your life more, and I didn't get it until now. When I got older, I was like, yeah, okay, I see what he was talking about.
Yeah, I feel like kids get obsessed with things, right?
Yeah.
Like you think about it now, like I'm glad I never got into video games like other kids did.
Oh my gosh, I have to tell you a story about video games. But continue.
We'll get there, but like you see kids now, they're obsessed with video games, iPads, and then they just like, that's all they want to do. They don't even want to go outside anymore, like run around where like, I'm like, I only wanted to be outside. Like my mom would like, I got in trouble at least once a week for coming home late than I was supposed to. Like there was a pickup game here. There's something going on. We're running around the streets, and it's like nowadays, like kids are just so obsessed with these video games. They give them so much, but it's like music was like the same thing for certain people. And he probably saw that and knew. He's like, you're just going to concentrate on this. You play music all day, every day. You're not going to be studying. You're not going to be doing this. You're going to quit sports if you're playing sports, and you're just going to be in your room playing records and, doing whatever. And he's like, you need to do multiple things. You need to be well-rounded. But kudos to him for putting that together. And also giving you a good taste in music and like setting you off in that journey. Like I always think like, that's why I'm going to ask the same question to you. Well, you kind of already answered it, but would you say like, obviously music was in your household. Was that the first place you fell in love with music? Was at home?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right in the house. And then leave the house to fall in love with music. Right there in the house.
No, your parents were playing music all the time.
Right there in the house.
Building that taste even.
Yeah, man. Right there in the house. Didn't need to leave the four corners of the room, man. Right there in that house.
Do you remember a specific moment where you like truly were like, this is my thing. Like I love this. Like I want to. Do you remember a moment?
Yeah.
Can you think of it offhand?
Yeah. 1988.
Those guys got the date too. I forgot you said you're good with dates.
Yeah, 1988. The first grade. I was in okay, man. I'm setting up my age, man. Yeah. 1988. Okay, I'm the first grade, man. And my teacher at the time, her name was Miss Marr. I never forget this lady's name. She told my mom that my mom picked me up from school. She's like, "Oh, tomorrow is show and tell. And what are you gonna bring to school for show and tell?" And I was like, sitting on. I was like, "Oh, I know what I'm gonna bring to school for show and tell." And she's like, "What are you gonna bring?" Bob Marley. And she's like, "What?" My mom look at my mom. I said, "Yeah, I'm gonna bring Bob Marley's album to school." And she's like, "Joel, you gonna bring what?" And I said, "Bob Marley." And she's like, "Okay, we'll see." And then the next day, I went home and I said, "Dad, can I use this for school tomorrow?" And he's like, "Oh, you doing this?" I asked him to borrow Bob Marley and the Wailers, their LP called Live. That was actually the album. I didn't notice until when I got older. That was the album that launched Bob Marley's career internationally. I didn't know that at all at the time.
I remember my mom playing that in the household too. Continue.
Bob Marley and the Wailers, the LP is called Live.
Yeah.
It's like red, gold, and green, and it says Bob Marley and the Wailers. It says red, gold, and there's a picture of Bob Marley and his guitar, and his face is turned this way.
Yeah.
It says Live. That's a live concert album on it, right?
Yeah.
And I brought that to school for show and tell. And I played trench tone rock. for the kids in grade 1 and those little old school turntables in the 80s, man.
Sick.
Open it up and I played it for him, put the record on there, and it was trench tone rock.
Oh,
You know,
man.
and the class was, everyone was like bopping, and because then she's like, oh, that's what he meant. And then the teacher is dancing, and that was my first DJ gig too.
Oh, this guy's DJing grade 1, brings it in.
Brought in that, man. I brought the Barman the Wailers LP to school, man. That was, man, when I saw the reaction of the class, and I went home, I told my mom, told my dad, oh my God. And I said, Mom, and my dad's like, and my dad said, where's my record?
He didn't care about how one. He's like, it's come back in one piece. It's good.
He looked, open up. He's like, all right, good. But yeah, I never forgot that moment, man.
Would you say that's like obviously because you didn't forget it, but that was like, I call those little moments like fuel, where it like fuels you on the direction you're going to. It's like you do that, you're like, okay, like this might be something I want to do. Did you know that you might want to start DJing from that moment, or did you even know what you were doing?
Listen, I always knew what I was doing, man. I can't. Sometimes it scares me. How in it? Like, I don't know. I think I'm an old soul, because I'm like, I knew things in times. Me and Brad were having that conversation this week. I was telling Brad, like, man, the way, I don't know, my brain just works different. Like, at that age, I knew, and I was just making I remember, okay, that same year for Christmas, my godmother asked me what I want for Christmas, and I told her I want a turntable. So for Christmas in '88, she went to Consumers. Those who in Toronto remember that store, that big store in the '80s called Consumers Distributing. That was a big department store, and she went and she bought me a turntable at the top, 2 cassette deck with a mini equalizer, had a tuner on it, and 2 little small speakers. She bought that for me as my Christmas gift.
Legend.
All right. And I kept that all the way till about 1997. I had that. Yeah. And yeah, and when she gave me that,
game over.
It was game over. I started making cassette tapes in my bedroom.
Oh.
Yeah, I started making my own mixtape. This is the days when people say mixtapes now. We're talking about mixtapes on cassette.
Yeah, the real mixtapes.
The real mixtapes. So I would like go in the basement where my dad's records were, and I'd sneak them upstairs, and I'd come up and I'd play them and put them on the songs I wanted to hear, and I put them on tape, and I'd put them back in the basement. I come back upstairs and put another set, record it, put it like that was a mixtape.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I had a pile. I still have those tapes to this day. Yeah.
Yo, you gotta hold on to those,
man. I
man.
still have those tapes to this very day. I have those tapes to the point that, like, back in the day, I wrote on them the day I did it.
Sick.
So my writing was all over the place, but I wrote on it like the day I did it, and I still have them to this day.
It's like a time capsule, man. You can like flip through those and be like, oh, this day. Oh, what? This was what I was listening to. This is what I was doing.
Yeah, man.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
That's sick. I have a question now about the mixtapes. Now you're talking about recording these tapes. Did you ever get into being the guy at school who's like, making tapes for people, selling mixtapes, that sort of thing? Because I know Bradley, my cousin, he would hook me up with tapes all the time. We tell him songs you want, and next time he'd come over, he'd bring us a cassette with like all the different songs on it that we were looking for. But were you ever that guy?
Yeah. And okay, shout out to my former DJ partner back in the day, on DJ Little T. Like, that's what me and him used to do back in the day.
DJ Little T, I saw him in your interview. You were talking about him.
Yeah, man. We did that, man, heavy in high school, man. My backpack didn't even have books in it, man. I went to school with a bag, my Adidas backpack.
Bag full of tapes.
My mom would see me leaving to go into school, and she'd be like, "Okay, Joe, you have your books?" Yeah. And when I would go in the middle of the hallway right by my locker, and he'd come up to me and say, "Joe, okay, you have the tapes?" I said, "Yeah." And I opened my backpack up, and we started selling tapes right there in the hallway.
What was the tape going for back in the day? Back
in the day, tapes are going for like $10, $15, man, depending on who you knew. Maybe a man can get one for $5 if he's running short. But $5 came when you have to buy us lunch.
We'll work it out a different way.
Bro. You don't got the full $5. Bring us lunch tomorrow. So we slang tapes heavy, man. That was people don't know the tape.
People don't understand
the tape
nowadays.
Game was bigger than what, like, you could slang a tape easily back in the day for $15 to $20.
And this is pre-Napster,
everything, all of that. no digital world, none of that.
Yeah.
Now, no email, nothing, text, nothing, no cell phone, nothing. We were slanging tapes.
You got to know somebody who has this collection and who can put this together.
Yeah, and I had to, because I was a rare dude with a sound system. At the time, I had a sound system in my basement. So I would make the tapes and dub them over and over. We would go to Rexdale Plaza, at Islington and 401 back in the day, because I went to TCI, right, and Islington and the Albion side, and I would go there and we'd buy boxes of blank cassette tapes, Memorex, TDK, Maxell, piles, and we buy a bunch of them, and I would, like, in a day, we sell up like boxes of tapes of people, boxes of them, man. Because that was the only way to listen to music.
Yeah.
There was nobody could afford to buy CDs. CDs are like some high-end world now, yeah? So tapes was tape, Walkmans. Everybody had their Walkman. Tape. Yeah.
Dude, I remember my first Walkman because I had this lady who lived on my street, and she she'd do like a summer camp. Like every summer she like worked at a summer camp, and like people would just leave stuff. So she'd come home with like the lost and found that nobody claimed. And one time there was an old Walkman in there.
Oh.
And so that was my first hookup to a Walkman. That was like, for me, because like, yeah, like I mentioned it in the podcast with Brad, where like, you know, when I was real young, like going like after dinner, mom let me pick the records, play them. We dance and like sing in the living room. But you know, as you get a little older, you start to develop your own little sound and taste of music that maybe doesn't go to, you know, your folks might not be into. And I remember that was the first time I could like, before I had a boombox, I got that Walkman from the lady. I forget why she gave it to me. I feel like I used to like help with her kids or something. I don't know. But anyway, she hooked me up with this yellow Walkman with like the headphones, everything. Like you had to be, this was before the anti-shock as well. So like if you're walking around too much, running around like a kid, it's going to just skip. And yeah, I remember that was the first time I could like put my own music on and just like, I would just be listening to it. And like, it was like the coolest thing for me. That's my little cassette, right? Then we jumped, it was like the late 90s, early 2000s. So we're jumping into CDs and stuff. And actually Brad showed me Napster, and I thought it was the craziest thing because I was like, what? You just go and get all this music? I thought he was like a wizard because like he would just have all this music. And obviously some of it he was probably burning from his own collection.
Yeah.
But no, that's cool, man.
Yeah, man.
When did you start to actually be like, you know what? I want to like be more involved and become, were you a DJ first before you started becoming a recording artist and like, rapping and everything?
Yeah. Sound system. Yeah, reggae music, sound system.
I love to talk about sound systems too, because a lot of people, some people, the younger generation especially, don't understand that back in the day, like a DJ could have been your DJ selector, MC, and like you have your own sound system that you bring places.
Yeah, man.
Could you, before we get into like your story of like, can you explain to people like what the value is of having a sound system and like what it was back in the day and like those sorts of situations? And there were different sound systems too, right? People might have like, oh, this one's got like this, these guys got this.
Yeah. One of the things that what people don't understand. Okay, with sound system, right? Put aside like music part. That's the system part about it. Having the speakers, the turntables, the equalizers, the compressors, the echo chambers, having the Richter scale, having the equipment was a greater asset than most people look at. Because when I was young, and when I had my own system, that changed the game for me at a young age. Like that changed, like I should have bought a friggin' camcorder back then and just said, I videotape those stuff, because it was a game changer. Because there's a store, everybody knows the store, Long and McQuaid, right? Long and McQuaid is one of the biggest stores around in Canada, period, for audio
got
stuff.
half this studio stuff.
Yeah, man. Like Long and McQuaid, shout out to Long and McQuaid, man, for the Trainer brand. That's the speaker that they made back in the day. They had the Yorkville sound, the Trainer brand speaker. And back in the day, a lot of people don't know that, but Long McQuaid, well, they still do it now, but back in the day, a lot of people didn't know that Long McQuaid was renting speakers to people. You had to go and rent the system and rent. I owned it. So I didn't need to go to them. So a lot of sounds people don't know back in the day had to rent systems. They had to go rent the speakers, rent the turntable, rent. That's a bill.
Yeah.
That's a imagine if every gig you gotta go do, you gotta go rent stuff.
Yeah.
I already had it. So I learned at a young age the importance of owning a sound system. The music is important, but if you don't have the sound system, then everywhere you go, you got to be depending on someone else to provide it, or you got to go rent it. But I owned it. So I never had to do none of that. So I was able to do gigs. A lot of the gigs I did were private gigs where I was allowed to, I could have brought my own system. So I didn't have to worry about renting. I charged what I want to charge, went there and did what I wanted to do, set up what I want to set up, made the money I wanted to make, did what I had to do because it was mine.
Yeah.
I had I cut the middleman out. Like no middleman, me and the people. I do the gig, there you go. You pay me, there it is. So I had to learn that. I learned that young, and as I try to tell when I was younger playing sound, a lot of people didn't understand that. They say, "Oh, you don't need to have all them stuff in them. Da 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 da. I'll go rent it." And later on, they're like, "Man, Joel, I should have done what you did because the amount of money I spent on renting, I could have owned this stuff." And the funny thing about it is, later on, Long and McQuaid actually started to implement that.
Yeah,
where you could have literally rent to own it. Yeah, because a lot of people they wasn't offered in the beginning. So a lot of people were spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on rentals.
Wow.
And I caught on young. So when I had the system, I used to maintain that system and took care of it, clean my turntables, bought my needles, make sure. So I never. There was 1 or 2 times I would rent something if I needed something, but never never on an active basis. Never. Because I learned that sound system comes first, then the music.
Nice. And that's big in reggae music sound system. Super important, right?
Yeah, reggae music. Yeah. That's what started my career. So there's a difference between a DJ, disc jockey, to sound system selector and sound system MCs are very, 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 they're similar, but they're not the same. Because DJ in Jamaican culture is the guy who is like a yellow man or a bounty killer or a ninja man. That's what they call a DJ. Sound man selector is what we call the disc jockey on the turntable. Yeah. So in America, North America, the DJ is the guy playing the records.
Yeah.
In Jamaica, it's a lyricist.
Wow.
Yeah. So there's a lot of people don't understand the terminology. So when I tell people before when I was younger, I'm a sound system selector, I'm this, and they're like,
"What's that? What are you doing?
You know, what's a sound system?" And I said, "No, but," and I show people the difference. And they're like, "Oh, okay. Yeah."
Nah, that's super interesting to me. Like I was when I got into DJing, I was really into this music called dubstep. And the form of it is dub, like, you know, like reggae, like dubs, right? Like that emphasis, like the bass line, percussion was important. And at certain parties, it was like a certain sound system would be there. And people would be like, "Oh, the sound's gonna sound really good." Like there's one in Toronto, 40-ounce sound systems, I think they're called. Okay. And they throw parties, they have this custom sound system that they'll bring to different venues.
Yeah,
for stuff like that. Was it that's similar? I assume that's where they got it, was from like the reggae influence in that, right?
It came from reggae music. It did. It came from there's no American culture never had that. Like most American DJs don't even own equipment. I know a lot of American DJs even to this day they don't own equipment. They may have because they depend on gigs where they just go and bring. Back in the day, they bring their records, or back in the day, now they'll bring their laptop, but they don't own equipment. They don't have a system.
Crazy.
They don't, because I know a lot of guys who've been DJing longer than me, and they don't own a system to this day. They don't own a system at all. They just deal with it per gig. So you got to have the system there for them to go and DJ. I never understood that, but that's what they did.
And people would probably book you because they're like, "Yo, this guy, besides having like a sick selection of music, knowing how to do his thing, plus he's got this banging sound system, right? Yeah. Like they're going because they're like, this sound system's there, you know? Joel's pulling up with his system. That's way better than so-and-so. It's like, we're going to this party.
Exactly. And one of the things people would like to do, people love the fact that they never had to deal with the issues of getting a system for you. So if you had yours, I say, "Okay, fine, book him. He already has everything. So they'll tell me how much time I need to set up. I say, "Yeah," tell them the time, and then I come and do my thing, and it's perfect. Because not a regular customer who is booking you to DJ somewhere does not want to deal with going out there and getting speakers and wires, and they don't know nothing about that. So when you tell them, "Oh, I come with that," like, "Oh, okay, perfect. You're the guy." There you go. Yeah,
you kind of do everything. Yeah, you just pull up and we got a party.
Yeah, you got a party right there. So I mastered that. Yeah. I mastered that at a young age, and to God be the glory that I had that in my head, because it got me in a lot of gigs, and it put me in a whole other space at a young age. Yeah.
And was that the start of NR Entertainment?
Ninja Ryders is NR. It's a Ninja Ryders song, the first installment of the
and
NR
that was
brand.
you and Lil T?
Yeah, that was me first, and then I brought Little T in after. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
How old were you when you started that?
Ninja Ryders 19.
19.
Yeah, when I professionally 19.
Professionally.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw an old clip of you being interviewed Soundwave.
Soundwave, shout out to Legacy. Yeah, man. Legacy.
Was that in New York?
New York, man.
Yeah.
That was in a very monumental place.
Tell us about it.
That was in New York City, Church Avenue. Superpower Records. It was one of the most landmark record stores in New York history. You know, Superpower Records. That record store is historical. It's like I don't know how it closed down because the digital era made it close down, but that place should have been a museum. The amount of history that went through that place. A lot of history in that place, man. A lot. Like one of the most. Okay, I don't know if I should even say this on our podcast, but like you can research this yourself. It's a situation with Supercat and another regard named Nitty Gritty. You know, if you research that, you'll see what happened after that, and that right outside that record store. Yeah. That was a moment in reggae history that changed the game after that, literally. But
can you tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah, well, it was an incident with Supercat. It's known out there, but it's an incident that happened where Supercat had gotten into an altercation with Nitty Gritty, a famous reggae artist as well. Two of them are like at top of their game at that time. Argument ensued. You know, it's a myth, but it's still the truth. And then one person didn't walk away alive.
No.
You know, and Supercat's still here, so fill in the blank.
Yeah.
You know, and like, right outside that same record store.
Yeah, man, that's sad to hear.
Yeah, man. That was a crazy moment in reggae music, but yeah.
So you're 19. Was that the start of your like DJ career when you started at 19 with Ninja Ryders, or was it? So you started. So you're out of high school. So in high school, were you just listening to music? You weren't really DJing yet.
No, I was DJing in high school.
Okay,
but with the DJing, I didn't do it. I wasn't DJing to say, okay, then let me take it to a commercial level yet. I was DJing house parties at that time. I was at a bunch of house parties every friggin' where. And this man in my next door neighbor, right? Shout out to Sister Joan, my good friend from a long time. My next door neighbor, her sister's husband had a sound called Jagged Sound. And I was DJing for a party for her, and he came over there to her house because it's her sister's husband, and he came to the party, and he saw me there, and he's like, yo, you play music nice. And I said, yeah, thank you. And he's like, one day you should come or check me. I didn't know at the time. They lived literally like around the corner. So then one day I went to visit him, and I saw his sound system he had in his basement. I was like, whoa. I was like, oh, this man. That's how I was like, when he had the racks and the I was like, man. I was like, yo. I was like, yeah. So he's like, one day, I'm keeping our party, I'll make you come play some music. So I said, oh, yeah, okay. Yeah.
Like sign me up.
Yeah, so I went there and I started playing. I was knocking it out the park with him because I was doing a bunch of grown people parties.
How old were you?
At that time, that was 17.
17.
Yeah, 17 years old. Yeah. And I was like he was throwing parties every minute. So I was just doing.
And they were older crowd parties?
Older crowd parties. And
so here's a 17-year-old kid coming up.
And that was the thing.
And you're bringing your own crates too, your own selections.
My own music. And that was the thing. People were like stunned that I knew that music. Like I was playing reggae music that was before my grandfather's era.
You were a student.
And I was dealing with it. Like the crowd was going. The time in the music was just, and this is vinyl.
Yeah.
This is not no, I couldn't Google and look and have a playlist. No, this is raw.
You ain't hooking up Spotify.
Records. No YouTube, no links. That's raw vinyl. And it was crazy. And that was my claim to fame, that I was the young youth that knew music. Yeah, that broke down a lot of doors because I was a young kid and I knew reggae music.
Yeah.
Reggae music. Not even any other genre, reggae music. People were just like, yo, this young youth, no, so much reggae. And I was giving them like I'm telling you, I'd play it. I didn't know. I loved it so much, man, that I stood up on my feet and I played music for 12 hours straight. I played music from 6 o'clock in the evening to 6 o'clock the next day. And I didn't even feel, I didn't feel tired. I didn't feel bored. I didn't feel sleepy. I didn't feel weary. I felt like
That's that natural high.
like and people were saying, Joe, you okay? I said, yeah. And the root, the basement. This is a basement too, you know. So like the place is packed, and people are just coming and in. Like it got so packed to the point that I remember he told me, he said, Joel, he like said, Joel, easy, eat. I said, am I doing something wrong? He's like, no. I said, Joel, you're going too good. The place too packed. Yeah, because people went down.
We need him to go home soon.
Because he's like, after a while, he's like, everybody he's trying to tell people like, he's trying to tell me to wind it down, like, kind of give me. But I'm young. I'm not thinking. He's like, one thing he's like looking at me like, and I kept going. I'm thinking he's telling me to keep going.
You're like, oh, I'm going.
And then he had to come to me. He's like, Joel, easy, man. I said, what? People even ever wind this down. I'm like, oh, Lee, stop. He's like, oh, yeah, stop. Joel, stop. Then he hit the lead, come and press the turntable. Stop. That's what I mean.
He's like, literally, stop the music.
He literally put the finger on the turntable and stop. And then he's like, okay, Joel, people need to go home.
I got stuff I got to do tomorrow.
He said, Joel, I have to go to work. Like, Joel, the day's done.
Oh,
are you okay? I said, oh, okay, sorry, okay.
Like,
I thought I said I had time. And then he told my next door neighbor, and he told her, this kid is obsessed.
Yeah.
He said, Joel, that part. And everybody, back in the day, like Brad was saying, man, like, there was no Instagram or DMing. This is word of mouth. So there was either people would take like one little homemade flyer and they'd go to like any photocopying place and they just photocopy that and then hand it out to co-workers and the rest of it was you had to get on a landline phone, call people and say, hey, Saturday, I'm keeping da-da-da-da. That's what it was. That's how you got a crowd. And this man has so much. This man has basement turned into a club because it became so packed. That one time before, I had the flu and I couldn't. I didn't feel what to go DJ, and I told he's like, Joe, you're not coming. I said no, and people came looking for me, and when they started, when they realized I wasn't there,
they left.
They left. Like the party was over because my next door neighbors came to check on me to see if I was okay, and I said, yeah, I'm good. She's like, Joe, people came there and I said, what's up? I said, well, how was the party? She said, boy. I said, what happened? She said, by about 12 o'clock, party was done. I said, 12 o'clock? She said, yeah. I said, what happened? So the lights went? What happened? Power switch? She said, no, you weren't there. I was like, oh.
Was someone filling in trying to, and they just not the same?
Everyone came there, hi, we're the young youth. Joel, where? Why? I never knew, man, I had that kind of impact. Because I wasn't taking it like with an ego, like, oh, man. No, I was like, okay.
You just loved it, so you're here doing it.
Next time I'll be there. And I'm like, that's it. I didn't take it like, oh my gosh, I'm doing this great thing. I was like, it's me. So I just said, okay, next time. And next time, it was like, literally, security came. Like, someone called the security. I never forget, security came and said, okay, there's too many cars parked up outside, man.
Oh, that's how you know there's a party.
Yeah.
All the
because people started parking their. This is Toronto housing now, and people are parking their cars, blocking in other people's cars, blocking in. And so the man's like, listen, man, the security guard was cool. He's like, listen, I know you guys are having a party, so don't try to tell me anything else. He said straight to the point.
Yeah,
but you guys gotta wind this down. Like, there's enough cars out here. Like you got. Are you guys running a dealership?
Is it a used car lot?
Is that a car lot out here or a party? Which one you guys are doing here?
I don't know. Maybe both.
And then he took that. He's like, okay, you guys gotta wrap this up. And that's when that's what kind of took time when we couldn't keep the parties anymore because they were getting too big.
Yeah,
they were getting too big. And he moved a little bit after that to Brampton. And I never had a car to go out to that side.
Yeah.
And then he was like, and everybody kept telling him to do it again. But then like, he was like, because people started calling housing and complaining because we are playing, virgin. When we started playing music, man, it was an all night thing. There was no such thing as, by one, no, all night.
There's no last call.
No, all night. Because back in those days, people didn't feel comfortable going into clubs. Like this is like late 90s, early 2000. A lot of grown folks were more happier going to places that they're familiar with,
Yeah.
where they knew everybody there already. So when he had that vibe, it was incredible because with a lot of grown folks didn't want to go, and I couldn't get into no club.
Yeah.
I couldn't get
Yeah,
to
you're
no
what,
club.
17, 18 at the
18, I
time?
couldn't go to no club. No club. No
Yeah.
club. I couldn't go no club whatsoever. So I was so grateful to be doing something
Yeah.
because no club would book me. I tried to give out tapes to club and they go, how old are you? I said, I'm 17. Oh, no.
Can't get you in. That's a liability.
No. Like a man to hand me back my tapes. Say, no. I don't even want, no.
Should have listened to
Yeah.
it. Maybe they would have made some arrangements.
And later on down the line now, it was like, I look back on those moments, I'm like, man, that was like if we had kept that if we could have expanded that, it would have been way better. But it was kind of, after that, it was kind of over after that with that. Yeah, the basement dance era, that was kind of over after that. Yeah.
So you were doing it solo at the time. This is before you started Ninja Ryders with Lil T, right?
Yeah,
or is it just you as Ninja
Just
Ryders?
me. It was me.
Ninja
Just
Rider
me,
sound.
Just me. Yeah.
So from that, those start winding down.
Yeah.
Not the parties aren't the same anymore.
Yeah.
When did Lil T come into the mix?
Lil T came in the mix because I was in high school. Now I was in like, this is like 2001, right? And me and him connected because at the time, nobody in high school knew about reggae music. It was a hip hop. It was hip hop. Every young person in that age bracket, hip hop.
Yeah.
Nobody knew nothing about reggae music. Nobody knew reggae music. They may know of an artist's name. They didn't know nothing about reggae music.
Maybe like one big song.
One big song here
Heard of Bob
and there.
Marley.
Heard of Bob Marley.
Classic.
That's about it.
Damn.
So when it came to dance hall and music and sound system, one day me and him were sitting in math class.
Yeah.
And I had my headphones on, these same headphones like this, big Radio Shack headphones on my head. And I was blasting a sound tape in my I had to, okay, I was supposed to be listening to math, but I was listening to music instead. Well, I can't lie. I was a mad guy. I had the headphones like this and I'm just like that on the desk. And he heard it. He's like, he tapped me on my back. He's like, yo, what you listening to? What? He said, what you listening to? He said, Stone Love, man. Stone Love. He said, Stone Love? I said, yeah. He said, you're on the Metro Media? I'm like, hold on. Metro Media? You know what? Hold on. I took the headphones off. What? You know what Metro Media? I said, yeah, Sky Juice and you. I'm like, I said, hold on. It was like, honestly, it was like an epiphany went off in my brain. Like, you know about what? And then me and him started talking. We knew each other before, but I never knew he knew reggae music.
Yeah.
So he started telling me he has a bunch of sound tapes and he has this and that. So I said, what? You have sound? I said, so where are they? He said, I'll bring you them tomorrow. I said, okay, cool. So he started bringing me sound tapes. Like classic dancehall songs from Jamaica. He started bringing me like King Jammies and Sting. He started bringing me a bunch of tapes. Yeah. He actually helped me rebuild my sound tape collection again because he was giving me tapes every day.
Nice.
And I would just copy them and give it back to him. So then one day I'm like, yo, man, I was listening to some tapes he gave me. I was like, man, it would be nice to have a sound system, like the team thing, man. I'm like, this would be nice, So like at the time, so then one day me and I said to him, yo, man, I'm going to the record store, you want to check it out with me? And he's like, not today, but maybe next time. So I said, okay, cool. So then one day we were in class and I was like, yo, man, I'm going to the record store today. You want to come through? He's like, which one? I said, oh, up on Eglinton. He's like, Eglinton? I said, yeah. Okay, I'll come check it. I said, okay, cool. So I'm like, okay, let's go. And then he just followed me as a friend to the record store. And then we're there. And I'm watching him. I'm like, yo, this guy. So he's going through the records and he's not buying nothing. I'm buying the records. And I'm watching him to see, oh, this guy.
What's he into? What is he like?
I'm like watching him. This man knows what he's doing. This man knows his music. And I'm like, okay. So then one day we're in drama class in high school and sitting in the auditorium and I said, man, listen, I don't know if you'd be interested, but I see you know reggae music, man. You have the knowledge. I said, yo, I have a sound system, He said, I said, yeah, it's called Ninja Riders. I said, yo, man, you want to join up with it, man? We could do this, I said, I have the equipment. And I said, you can come to my house and I'll show it to you. And he was like, I don't know, man. So I said, well, think about it. I said, and then like weeks went by and I kept asking him, say, yo. She's like, okay, I'll come check it out. he came to my mom's house and I showed him the records and everything because I had the system, everything there. And he's like, wow, man, this is good, man. So I played it for him. I said, yo, man, you want to join up and do this? He's like, okay, cool. Yeah, man, we'll do it. And then, like I did, he is a very creative dude.
Yeah.
So when I said let's do this, he immediately was like, okay, we need business cards. We need this. He was like, he came to me with that. Like it's my son, and he came to me with them ideas. He's like, yo, Joe, we need some business cards. We need to get people that know what we're doing. We need to do a photo shoot, take some pictures. And this is early 2000, like 2001 them time. And we and him. I remember he went to a Kinko's, and when I printed up some business cards, and at the time we had pagers. So nobody had a cell phone, so I had to put my mom's house phone number and my page number.
I bet she loved that.
Oh my gosh! Oh, that was a wrong move. That was a wrong move.
Yo,
that was not a
in
good
hindsight.
Move. No, I didn't think. That was when you jump in, the gun goes wrong, man. I didn't think that went all the way through. Eh? I just thought about, okay, I need a phone number, and I just stopped after that. And man, my mom's phone was like, my mom's like, who's this? Oh, you want to talk to Ninja? No, Ninja living here now. I'm like, Mom, it was for me.
She doesn't even know what the name of your thing is.
I said, Joe, what are you doing? What? I said, Joe, you give. And she saw it. My mom went to do the laundry in the basement, and she saw my business cards on my desk, and she's like, Joe, you put my phone on. She started going off, and she's like, oh, and then I said, Mom, sorry, but we have no phone. And then she's like, Joe, what are you doing? So then we had to switch up. I said, youth. I look over and say, yo, T, we gotta get some different business cards because my mom ain't liking her phone number.
She's not liking all these calls at all time of day.
So then we did another set of cards. And then he said no, he went and got one pay-as-you-go cell phone, yeah? And then we get some next card and I put that on there. But then pay-as-you-go is exactly how it works. Pay-as-you-go. So when we didn't have no money, we couldn't use it. So then that went down. So we kept going through all these cards and design. I have all of them to this day. The history of all of my business cards. I have all of them. All of them have different numbers and different this and that because we never had no cell phones until about 2003, right? Is when my girl got me a cell phone, right? She bought me a cell phone, and then I said she surprised me with a peanut phone. Yeah, that was a lick back in the day, but the peanut phone, eh? And that changed the game, bruh. The peanut phone. And we finally got a number on the business card that we can answer the phone. Eh? My TELUS mobility phone, man. And then we plastered those cards everywhere. Everywhere we gave out cards. We used to ride the subway line. Me and T ride the subway line, go downtown, hand out business cards everywhere. And yeah, man, that's when the Ninja Ryders took off, man. Yeah. I had me and him together, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, man.
So where did you go? So you guys linked up, starting putting together this sound. You already had the sound system. You guys both had like the taste and the selection of records kind of unlocked.
Yeah.
You had depth, you're playing old stuff, new stuff, everything in between.
Yeah.
What were some like memorable moments at that time that you guys would go and do? Any memorable events playing outside of the city, other countries? Like,
okay. Memorable events. Okay, I'll take in some history. Before we really said, okay, we're gonna be serious in the sound system, me and him in 2001 did the Club Epiphany juggling competition. Yeah, man. That's a monumental time in history in Ninja Rider sound, man. We had no prior experience. Me and him clashing anybody, going against no competition. And we said we're gonna go do it together. And we said we're gonna do it and we're gonna make moves and we had this big plan in our head that we're gonna change the game and whatever. And that night, oh my gosh. Can we swear on this? Are we swearing on this?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I'll
be a little bit civil. Man, I got my ass handed to me, man. Whoa, my gosh.
I saw you get interviewed on by Wiz.
Wiz, yeah.
Wiz, was this the one?
Yes.
He handed it to you. I seen that.
Shout out to boy Wiz, you see? Wiz is my bona fide brethren from my heart, man. Wiz is my friend. Me and Wiz became friends that night.
Because what did he say to you?
Wiz handed my ass to me on a silver platter, man. I don't know how else to put it. Like, I'm going to be real. You have to take your beating and I know that you lost something. I stand proud in my loss that night because Wiz tore me and T to pieces. Wiz ran through us like a truck over an ice cream cone. Wiz took us down, man. Like it wasn't like a direct attack on us personally. It was like musically, the man beat us to the floor, man. We had no friggin'.
He was just like
he was relentless,
just
man.
Skilled.
Wiz was relentless, man. Wiz was like,
and this was a sound clash.
Yeah, man, a sound clash competition.
Was this your first one?
First one ever.
Wow.
First one. My debut night. First time ever.
Don't forget that.
We never had no experience in this before. We never clashed before that, and we went and did that. And like, man, and because in our defense now, we were told it wasn't that type of vibe.
Yeah.
We were told entertain the crowd, play music, do your thing. That's what we were told. Ninja Ryders we were told that. But then everybody else was told, go out there, kill a sound, done the dance, make sure that. So it was a lot of I don't know, but it was a long time ago. I didn't carry no feelings, no, but it was a lot of sabotage. It was because we were the younger zone and it wasn't set up for us to win. And later on, we found out that it was never set up for we could have played at top, because there's another story again. The year later, we actually went and did it again. This time, we flattened the place. Yeah. Destroyed the place, took down 2 top sounds in Toronto that night.
Wow.
Me and T was sick that night. He had the flu.
Still pulled up.
And he pulled up that night.
This is Michael Jordan flu game.
Yeah, man.
Let's go.
I would say it to the heavens, man. That night, me and him were Michael and Scotty, man. We were like, yo, we didn't miss a step. Damn. This guy had a cough. He was sweating and he had his Ninja Ryders hat on. I had my Ninja Ryders hat on, and we told each other, say, yo, we're not losing.
Yeah.
We are not losing. And we went final again, and we went out there, man, and we just said, yo, you know what? I said, youth, forget this, man. Throw out the rule book. We're doing what we want. And we just tore the place apart, man. And it was foundation reggae music too. So we played Bonnie Wheeler, Peter Tosh, Dennis Brown, and it was just one hit. It was crazy. Like we had the place weak, and we still lost.
What's the energy like in a moment like that? Like, what is it? Can you give us give the audience like an idea of what it feels like? Because just like being in those rooms, being in that moment when you're trying to select the right record, you're trying to play that. Like, what does it feel like in there?
No, it's an adrenaline rush. But one thing with me and T, I was telling Brad this last night. I was like, listen, only 3 man in Toronto and me where I played sound system with them that we have that ultimate go-to chemistry. Like where we feed off of one another. It's me and Brad when we play music, me and my virgin, me and T, and me and the next guy, them Natty B. You know, shout out to Natty B who owns Treasure Isle Records on Eglinton West. I done numerous parties with him, and we just had that chemistry. So that night with me and T, the chemistry, we were like razor. Me and him did not miss a beat, cause we're on this stage and he's selecting and I'm on the mic. So I'm looking back to see what he's about to play, and I'm building a speech up the top of my head to play. Cause once you drop that needle, they're hearing this. So I'm quick, I'm on the mic and I'm talking and he's selecting and we were like, man, as God's my witness, I wish I had a video camera, man. Because that night, everybody was screaming out, Ninja, Ninja. And we were just, let me see, I think I have one of my, this is a monumental thing.
Let's go.
Here. Yeah. The Ninja Ryders bandanas, man. This is what we gave up that night to everybody. Yeah?
Sick.
We threw this into the crowd and we had a room full of some girls are dancing, they're waving, and the whole room, Club Epiphany on Arrow Road, man. That was 2002. The whole room was leveled because of what me and him did that night, man. And at the end of it all, they announced us that they said we lost. And again, the same thing came about where you're the young, like that's one of the things, and I don't care. I put it out there in reggae music, and I don't really care what people want to say. I say it straight up and down. Is that with reggae music, they never like the younger songs to get that break. That was always a big hindrance in reggae music and dancehall. They never want the younger songs to get a break.
Yeah, I could see that being like a hindrance because it's like you want to keep pushing the sound forward, right?
Yes, yes.
You want to have like, and I feel like that's also why like you guys and Brad, you guys were all respected too, is because you had that appreciation for the old sound.
Yeah.
You played that in your set still. You pulled those records out. You had access to them.
Yeah.
But you also had these new sounds that was like from your era that you were probably pushing at the same time.
Yeah.
And it's like that's what's gonna keep evolving the music and pushing it forward,
Exactly.
right?
Exactly.
Damn.
But in dancehall has a massive problem, especially in here in Toronto. It's not so prevalent in other places, but in Toronto, it's a heavy problem. Where a lot of younger DJs, a lot of young sound systems never got the big push not because of their talent, not even because of the people. It wasn't because of the people. It wasn't because they couldn't do what they're doing. It was because a lot of the club owners and the promoters, they grew up with a lot of the older sounds. They knew each other from Jamaica. They know each other personally. So it was more like they wanted that same old routine. So anytime you threaten the status quo, so to speak, you were looked upon as like, no, you can't come around here. Because like when me and T were doing parties, we wanted to get paid, man.
Yeah.
We did party, we want to pay, we want to get paid. A lot of these big DJs out there in the reggae music sector, you think they're getting paid, but they're not. They're doing things for favors. They're doing things for, give me 2 Heineken and a plate of food, $100. So when me and T were doing it, we did this professionally.
Yeah.
We did it. We do the job. We want to get paid. We do the job. We expect to say, okay, we did this incredible thing. We won.
Yeah.
Everybody's, you guys are the winners, but yet still we're known as the losers. Why? Because we're clashing the sound over here that we beat, right?
Yeah.
They're gonna do the free work for us later on. They'll do a favor for me whenever I need it.
They have a connection to the promoter or whatever.
They have a connection to that. So they have more value to us than you guys.
Damn.
So that's what we experienced.
Yeah.
It wasn't never our talent. Never.
Damn.
It was just, in the world of, it's like I was saying this the other day to a friend of mine that when I see the entertainment industry today, right, where sometimes they'll be like, oh, what's your Instagram followers like? What's your Facebook like? And I'm like, imagine like 1985 and someone asked Whitney Houston, what's her Instagram like before they give her a record deal? And I imagine in 1990, someone asked Mariah Carey, what's her Facebook likes like before they hand her a record contract? It's like, that's the nonsense people are saying when it comes to, so people are not, in today's world, especially as the 2000 era started, people started taking lesser chances with new talent. And that's what messed up the business in the long run. Even up to today, when you see you see people popping up like weeds saying they're DJs, and people are popping up like weeds saying that they're rappers, because it's because they stop grooming talent.
They're taking away from the art.
Yeah, they took away from, before it was an art. You had to know how to DJ.
You had to be skilled.
To be a DJ. You had to learn to be a singer, you had to learn how to sing. You had to know to be a rapper, you had to rap. And so it was like, but now they focus on they kind of made it more, they took the politics thing and they took it to another level and they turned it into social media.
Yeah.
So they kind of said, okay, no, our new politics is social media. So if you don't have this and that on social media, then we don't want to do it with you.
Yeah.
Which again is nonsense, but that's what they feed off of because they can't, because nowadays everything's exposed.
Yeah.
See, everything, back in the day, if that had happened to us now, get in a big party, we could have videotaped that and then put them on blast and say, yo, this is our Sabbath. And then, like, there you go. Kind of ruin their business. But back then, you can't do shit. You have to tuck your tail between your legs and say, okay, then I'm going home. I lost.
Yeah.
So so a lot of the politics back in the day was hidden because for example, okay, back in the day, if you kind of took it to, if you took politics, if you said, okay, that happened to you and you want to take it to some, this, and you kept talking, that can turn to some street shit.
Yeah.
Because you know, you're sabotaging their business now. So no, that's some hood shit now. So we had to literally like, as painful as it was, we're not no street dudes. We businessmen. We in the entertainment industry. We ain't in no hood business. We ain't no gangster business. So we had to say, you know what? Eventually, we had to say, okay, then we lost.
Yeah.
And keep moving. Find something else to do. You know, and that rocked Ninja Ryders, the team. That rocked us hard. You know, that rocked us heavy at that time. Because it would, you know, at that time it would have been a heavy turning point. You know, for me and him as a team, but
it's just the water was too muddy with politics.
Yeah, it was. You know,
people were moving off of just. I guess you equating to now, like we're talking about with like the likes and followers, right?
Yeah.
You see these artists pop up now, and if they have like a little viral clip go viral on TikTok or Instagram, you know, labels might hit them up and follow them just off of that. They're like, oh, this person's interesting, and then they're like, oh, we can take you and we can mold you, but all they're gonna do is try to push on their sounds and give you this kind of like manufactured whatever. And you're ending up with all these artists that are sounding the same because they're being guided by these labels. When back, it was probably more easier back in the day because everything wasn't just right on the forefront. It's like people were creating more of their own sound and just what sounded good to them and then becoming a more standout artist. Like you could listen to a lot of different rappers. I'll say it to rappers. I'm more of a hip hop head. That's kind of where I came from. And like you can like hear a distinct style based on if you're listening to like whoever, you know, if you're going from like, you know, if you take it back to like, you know, Jadakiss to Nas to Jay-Z to Biggie, all different sounds and they kind of have their own sound, their own flow, bring it to like even up to like 50 Cent and like G-Unit and those guys, like they had their kind of own sound different from like New York and then Miami with like this influence and like the West Coast had their own sound with like, you know, the way that they made their music. Nowadays, you're getting anybody from anywhere can make anything because it's all obtainable. And then if they have something that goes viral, you know, they link up with a label, they put them with this producer, and now you're just getting this manufactured sound. And like they might even put these artists in a box and like change their sound when really you want to let that artist flourish on their own and develop and come up with their own textures, their own sounds, their own flavors, you know? And back in the day, I feel like it was way more prevalent and people would just do it because they don't see it on social media in front of their face all the time. You obviously at your time, you had a distinct sound and you were developing. What would you say is like the forefront of your sound back in the day, even to now? But like, what was the sound in Ninja Ryders? Like, what would you say is the essence of that sound?
When Ninja Ryders, well, when it comes to the sound system side of me, there was always the foundation of reggae music all the time. And that's what, again, kept us going. That when you have the core of reggae music, like the reggae on vinyl, especially back then, when you can say, okay, then we lost this right here. But I remember like, okay, we lost that. That was in 2002, April of 2002, that happened. And the same year, October 19th, okay, man, flip, this month will be like 20 years, flip. 20 years ago this month, jeez, time flew. 20 years ago this month, we did shout out to Primo, you know, Brian Mendoza, you know, sensemedia.net. You know, that was the Layer Show, premiered October 19th, 2002. Layer Show, sensemedia.net. So that night what happened in Club Epiphany when that didn't work out. You know, I went and said to myself, me and T sat down and we were going through a lot as far as like what we should do to get our, because when we seen that the politics out there, we say, you know, we got to change the game and get more control over how people hear us, what people find about us. So we said, okay, fine, we're gonna get our own radio show. So at the time, shout out to Lynx, you know, Ghetto Fabulous Sound System. Shout out to DJ Knox, you know, shout out to those guys, those Knox that introduced me to sensemedia.net. And shout out to Ghetto Fabulous because they had a show on there before us, The Garage. So when we got, they said to us, listen, you can do your own radio show on the internet. Now this is 2002. I'm like, internet?
It's early.
I'm like, internet?
What are we doing?
What the heck's that? The internet. Who came up with that? Where did that come from? I'm like an old man thinking, like, what the heck's the internet? And then he's like, no, bro, it's the internet. You can have a radio show. I'm like, who's gonna hear it? I'm gonna hear it. Where you broadcast that from? He's like, you're anywhere. I'm like, anywhere? He said, yeah, even in your house. My house? Like, what the? So it was a journey because we had no idea how to do this, right? We have the sound system and everything there. So then he's like, shout out to Knox again, man. Cause Knox so patient with us, man. Because we were young, we didn't know what to do. And Knox said, get a computer, this and that. So okay, tell a little history, man. NR Entertainment is Ninja Rider Sound started with NR Entertainment. I have to tell the story properly.
Yeah.
NR Entertainment Incorporated is the first installment of the NR branch is Ninja Rider Sound. But people don't know the history behind that is what I formed literally a year later was my version of NWA. Like I'm a as much as I love reggae music to my heart, my entrepreneurial influence is Eric Eazy-E Wright.
Nice.
You know what I'm saying? Eazy-E. Like my entrepreneurial influence is him. Man, I have so much Eazy-E memorabilia. It's amazing. We'll get to that part later on, but like when I decided to do this on a business level, really incorporate this company, which I incorporated the company the month later. November 15th, 2000. Man, geez, this time again. Yeah, November 15th, 2002, when I decided to say, listen, we're going to turn this into a company. We're taking this to another level. We're changing the game. Ninja Riders was really an acronym. NR was an acronym for Ninjas Riding Team. But I shortened it down to Ninja Riders. But it was really Ninjas Riding Team. And I formed my own version of NWA. It was 5 of us. Okay. It turned into 5 of us after that, right? It was like, I'm Eazy-E. I gotta be easy. That's me. I'm Easy. T was Dr. Dre. We brought an artist named Kid Madness. He was our Ice Cube.
I heard you mention in the Soundwave you're talking about Kid Madness.
Yeah, he was our Ice Cube. We brought another dude named Ricky Hunter. He became our MC Ren. And we had one girl on the team. That's the first lady of NR, Natalie Ninja. She's the only girl on the NR team. Like there's imagine 4 dudes and 1 girl.
Hey.
And I'm telling you, like I never said this publicly before, but sometimes it breaks my heart that we didn't stick together. We'll get to that story later on, and I'll tell the story. And then maybe people will contradict me later on when they hear this podcast and be like, "Well, that's not what happened." No, but I can tell people the truth. That's exactly what
you lived it. You were in
I
there.
lived it, and everybody who was there knows that that's what happened. But one of the things was we were so ahead of ourselves. Like I never knew how revolutionary we were at that time.
You didn't realize the impact of what you had.
I didn't know. Like, I don't think none of us realized it. But when I started to realize it, I was like, shit, we can change the fucking game. And that's when I decided to incorporate and turn it, because I was like, yo, this is gonna be revolutionary. We're gonna change the fucking game. And I remember me, Natalie Ninja, and T took the bus. This is a true story. Okay, I can tell you dates again, bro. October 5th, 2002, the Future Shop Adventure. Oh my gosh. Trying to get a computer. Oh, we go to buy a computer, no? Ain't nobody got no money. We in the store trying to figure out how we can, our budget was like $400 to buy a computer back then. $400 couldn't get you a good mouse pad in those days, yeah?
Yeah, they were expensive at that time.
At that time. We look at the prices, we're like, what the heck? We asked the guy, is that really $1,000? He's like, yeah. I said, yeah, do you have anything a little cheaper? He's like, oh yeah, over here, $800. I'm like, oh, okay, thanks.
You're like, that's not helping us.
So then we're walking our own Future Shop over and looking at everything, walking around. At the time, I was working part-time at Staples Business Depot, right? And the same Western Road and 401. So at the time I was working there part-time, DJing full-time, and working. And I was working 2 jobs, working at a nursing home. Let's tell people how to fund your dreams.
Yeah.
I was working at a nursing home for the city of Toronto, working at Staples Business Depot, and DJing and going to school full-time. This is my life in 2002.
Wow.
To fund my dreams. I was doing all of that. I was getting educated in school, and I was doing 2 part-time jobs, and still DJing.
Wow.
to fund what we were doing.
That's dedication.
Yeah,
man.
'Cause I was like I said, I'm easy. I'm funding the dream.
Yeah.
So I took up a responsibility for everybody. I said, I'm gonna fund the dream. And I'm spending the money and I'm making sure this and that and the other we're looked after and all that. And that day, we were in Future Shop and we're like walking around until this dude comes up to us like, you guys need any help? And then we're like, I said, listen, man, all we got is $400. Got any computers in the back? And anything used, we can just dust off and bring home. He's like, he's just laughing. He's like, no, but he's like, we have a Future Shop card. Why don't you guys get that and credit it? So I'm like, credit? He's like, yeah, you can credit it. I'm like, credit? I'm like, I want credit? And so I said, T, you have a credit card? He's like, no, the man's like, no, you can fill out this form. I'm gonna run your credit and you can get a Future Shop card. So I'm like, oh, apply for a card. So then me and T just we're starting college and we just had student loans at OSAP. So we're like, okay, we go pull our credit. No, dang, I mean, that we may turn on. Nah,
I feel I have bad credit.
So I'm like, man, I don't want to go down that road.
Yeah.
My credit's all right. So I'm like, So then we're looking. So then we're like, Natalie. We look at Natalie. We're like, hold on, your credit must be you ain't got no student loan. So,
Yeah.
So we're like, yo. So I went up to her and I'm like, me talk to you. Just said, listen. You're making an investment, this is your future. Get behind this now before it's too late.
Yeah.
I'm giving her some lecture and stuff. She said, Joel, stop talking. They want me to do something. I said, oh, okay, you do it? She said, yeah. So then she went to the guy and the guy asked her information. And then I taught these stories playing out there, man. We got a $1,500 Future Shop card. And in 2002, that's like Bill Gates money, right?
Yeah,
there.
let's go.
So I told the guy, give us the best of everything.
Just put it in our card, baby.
I'm on top. I'm like feeling like I'm balling out of control. I'm like, yo, give me everything. Give me that. Give me that. Give me that. So then he pulled it out. He's like, okay. So then we got extra warranty and then he got us a sound card. At that time, I didn't even know you needed an external sound card because we're doing the internet radio.
Yeah.
So the guy, I remember we told him we're doing a radio show. He's like, oh, you're gonna need this. So we're like, okay, cool. So we got that. So then all of a sudden, he packs up everything. He rings it up. And we're happy. And then we're like, hold on a minute. You want to get this home? This big monitor. Because this is the old school monitor.
Yeah.
This is not no flat screen.
No.
This is the big boxes.
Heavy.
Big old, not no flat.
Big tower too.
Big tower. I'm like, box with the sound card, mouse. I'm like, what the heck? We ain't got no cards. So what the hell we gonna do? We're gonna get out of here. So I'm like, shit. So then I said, T, how much money you got? And he's like, boy, all I got money to do is buy us some pizza later on. How much money you got? So, bro, I don't get paid till next week. So he's like, damn. So we look at Natalie again.
Thank you, Natalie.
We look at her and she's like, okay then. I ain't got a lot of money, but no, let's just take the bus. I said, you know what? I look at her and I said, where's the bus stop? I said, okay, you know what? Good, okay. I said, T, listen. We have to just run to the bus stop, man. So we held it in our hands and we just power walked to the parking lot to the bus stop. And then Natalie ran ahead of us and she got the flag on the bus and she waited and had the bus man wait for us. And then we just ran with the box. And then he was running. And then he told us, don't worry, he'll wait for us. And the light turned red too. So we ran and got on the bus and boom. So we took the computers home on the bus.
Man.
You know what I'm saying? That was Saturday, October 5th, 2002.
That's dedication too, man. To like go through all that and
yeah,
figure it out.
I mean, we got home to my mom. We went to my mom's house in the basement and we took out everything and we started that Saturday was so revolutionary because we tore up the whole basement ceiling and started like mounting stuff up on the seat. We built we built like our own little private space. The show was called The Layer Show. So we turned it into like this place. We put couches. So we just changed. We put pictures of everybody we met in the music industry. We created like a wall of fame.
Yo, shouts out mom for letting you do that.
Yeah,
eh?
well, yeah. Mom wasn't too into it at the beginning, man.
Yo, they never are.
Mom wasn't too into it at the beginning at all. but because like when we started having guests coming through, she's like, but when it was all said and done, it was powerful, man. So then we debuted 2 weeks later, the 19th of October, The Layer Show, live on sensemedia.net. And our first guest was an artist we ended up signing, Kid Madness, the same artist. He was our first guest on The Layer Show.
Wow.
We brought him on there and we had a ball, man. The show was incredible. Our debut show was incredible.
Damn.
Incredible, man. And we just kept the layer again. I did not realize until a few weeks later when I started looking back at the show. I started listening to the show and I was like, yo, man, we got it. I told her, I told Natalie, I was like, listen, man, this is something that's gonna change our lives. We gotta take this more seriously.
Were you guys just playing music on it, or were you guys talking amongst each other as well?
We're talking.
Like interviewing the person.
Yeah, we're interviewing. Yeah.
Almost like a podcast.
Yeah. And yeah, it was like basically what we're doing right now in 2002.
Yeah.
Right?
With some music and
music and yeah. And it was just, at the time, it was like, I didn't realize, I told her, I said, yo, listen, this is going to be revolutionary. We got to take this to another level. And this is October, and fast forward to February of 2003, the infamous meeting in my basement. And Natalie knows what's up with that meeting in the basement. You know, everybody was there. Ricky Hunter was there. T was there. Madness was there. You know, and we had the meeting in my basement, my mom's basement, where I laid out to them the future of NR Entertainment. Where I said, listen, I laid out everybody's role, what part we're gonna play, and how we're gonna change this whole thing called arts and entertainment. And I said things back then that sometimes it scares me. Cause I said back then, the world's gonna change. There's not gonna be no such thing as going into a place to get a job. You're gonna have to do it through the internet. I said that in 2003. I said that before you know it, they're gonna have phones. These phones are gonna start taking over the world. We're gonna do everything on our phones. There's not gonna be no more desk jobs and none of that stuff. They're gonna get rid of all that.
Wow. You saw it.
I saw it. I said entrepreneurship is gonna be the future. If you're into whatever you're good at, become great at it, because that's gonna change your life. These jobs are gonna come and go because they're gonna make them harder and harder and harder to get. And I said that I said some things, man. I said some things back then that I don't know why I even said that, but it happened. I said we're gonna lose a lot of friends. I said we're gonna lose a lot of family members. I said even our parents may all turn our back on us, thinking that we're crazy for what we're about to go do. But at the end of it all, it's gonna pay off. We gotta stay with what we're doing. If we give up on it, then we're gonna lose. And I preached us that day, and I said we have to stay unified. Because I said that the evil is going to try to break us all up because they're going to start seeing how powerful we are. I said a lot of the evil out there is going to see how great we are and try to break us all up. So we got to stay together. And bruh, it was like we started like the things that we did the things that we did. Like I look at now, people are doing like during the pandemic. They're like a lot of online DJs and sound clashes and whatever. Bro, I did that in May of 2003.
Wow.
Online sound clash. I have the audio to prove it.
I was gonna say you got recordings of these shows still.
Yeah, I have all those. I have all that to this day. Because when I started controlling the paradigm, I started saving everything.
Smart.
So I had everything. I have to this day all my audio, every single thing. I have it. But everything. Ask Brad. Brad knows my libraries. When Brad can't find something, he asks me for, and I give it to him.
Let me call Ninja.
They call me, and I got it because that's how heavy it got. Because once I controlled my product and what I was doing, I said I'm not missing a beat. I'm recording every freaking thing. I recorded this. I recorded everything. Man. So I have it on tape. I got it on CD. I got it on MP3. Everything. I recorded it.
Sick.
And we did phenomenal things, man. But it was like literally. One of the things people have to realize is like, Bushwick Bill from the Ghetto Boys.
Yeah, shouts out Bushwick Bill.
Rest in peace, Bushwick. When he had an interview he did a few years ago before he passed, and he talked about DJ Ready Red, who was one of the members of the Ghetto Boys before, right? He was the man who made most of their beats when they first started.
Yeah, and
he said that when they were. Like, they said they were traveling in a beat up van, doing shows in random places, just to get the name out there. Nobody was getting paid. Nobody ain't making no money. Just to get the name out there. And he was like, every time they had to do another show, Ready Red, God rest his soul too, because he passed away as well, was always like saying, oh man, like, I can't keep doing this because there's no money. I can't keep doing this. And he kept telling him, like, patience, bro. Come on, you gotta hang in there. And he said that right when they had right when they dropped, I think it was when they dropped My Mind's Playing Tricks on Me.
Yeah.
They dropped that out, that record, and I went out there. A little bit before they dropped that, a little bit before they put that out there, he said to them, you know what? I can't do this no more. They can't be making beats and DJing and nothing. I gotta get a job. I can't do this no more. And they're begging him to stay. And he said, nah, you can't do it no more. And he walked away. And then that record dropped. And the rest is history.
Yeah. What's his name? We were talking about him earlier. He was just interviewed. Trying to think who produced that album. Is that the album that, what album is that from? Was that Mind Playing Tricks on You, the name of the album, right?
No, I think
That was a single?
I think it's a single. I think it's called We Can't Be Stopped. I think that's the album. You can Google it, I think. I can't remember the exact name of the album, but.
Oh, I was thinking of Rick Rubin. Was that the one that Rick Rubin?
Rick Rubin didn't produce that. No, he didn't produce that record. No, he didn't produce that one.
Okay.
No, that was DJ Ready Red produced that. Yeah, that was I think that was the album.
He helped produce that one and he left.
Yes, he did the work.
Oh man,
he did it. He did all the work. It was done. Yeah, and that was the next thing to come out.
Wow.
But he was so concerned with the money and nothing ain't happening, and so he decided to go get a job.
Lost his faith in it.
Yeah, straight up. So Bushwick in the interview said a quote from the Bible about patience, and he said, like, when he gave up, that record dropped. Wow. And they became the Ghetto Boys.
Wow.
So people were hearing his work, and didn't even see him.
No, he's not getting to reap the benefits of the reward.
So when people to this day think of the Ghetto Boys, they don't think of him. They think of Scarface, Willie D. Bushwick.
Yeah,
that's it.
That's all.
They don't. But he was the guy that did that for them. Wow. But he walked away.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see how that can happen, because like something that I kind of been learning, especially with having this business in the studios, right, is like, patience. Like things aren't always going to be 100%. You're going to have those tough times where you're going to want to quit.
Yeah.
But if you can just push yourself to do, hey, okay, I'm not going to quit today. I'm going to do one more day. Let me do this one more time.
Yeah.
And you don't have to think about the long run. Like, how long can I do this for until I have to, you know what I mean? If like the universe gives you these little signs, right? I feel like, at least, where it's like, you hit this little win here, or you get this little thing here, or you figure something out that you didn't know, and you're like, oh, that's amazing. You feel good about it, right? And you get these little kind of drops of like, positivity or something that shows you on the right path. But it's like, sometimes, you have to either have the people around you that are going to push that on you and reinstill that.
Yeah.
Because it's not easy. It's like, life's expensive. Life's hard. Like, it's easy to be like, you know what? Oh, fuck it. I'm going to go get a job. I'm going to go do this.
Yeah.
I'm not where I want to be. But like, if you just like, you take pride in like those little moments that like work out, these little like crucial moments that don't seem big at the time, but they're like a small win, end up being huge for you in the long run, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And if he just would have stayed one more album, one more song,
exactly.
and it would have popped off.
Yeah.
Especially, it sucks because he had all these people around him telling him like, no, we got this, we got this.
Yeah.
Sounds like that's how it was for you. You were the guys talking to your team and being like, guys, we got to stick to the path. We got to do that.
Yeah.
So I'm sensing that not everybody.
That's exactly why I brought up that story, because that's what eventually started to happen. People started like, there wasn't beef or nothing like that, but it was like everyone decided like to just take time and like, oh, this and that. And, and when that started to happen, it was like, I started looking at like, really and truly, come on, man. Like I tried to like, and I realized at the end of the day, the more I tried, I was like, you know what? Okay, gotta just let that ride. Because when I tried to apply the pressure to kind of, that's when I felt things were getting personal. Like it was turning into like an argument, and people were like kind of like, oh, like, man, like, you ain't paying me. And I'm like, bro, we're almost there. Let's keep going. And one of the things I had to realize, and that's where I was never, that's the one thing people need to realize, that like I brought up Eazy-E, and I use Eazy-E's reference again, because I never got into this to say, I got into this to be a businessman.
Yeah.
Because I always had the vision, and I could see the talent in people, and know and say, okay, this, you do that, and then we could do that. But I love music. So once my passion for music was my thing with sound systems. So I love it. I just love sound
It's
system.
What drives your business is the passion.
The time. So my passion for sound system turned me into more of a business head, because I wanted to make a living through it.
Yeah.
But I was never thinking about recording artists or writing books. I wasn't thinking about none of that stuff. I thought I was gonna get people to kind of do that stuff. But with the experience that I had trying to do that, I won't say it cut my spirit, but I'm saying that I realized that you can't force people to see something they don't want to see.
Mm.
And that's what I was that's what I was doing out of fault. I was kind of like trying to show people things that they just didn't want to see or weren't ready to see.
Or weren't able to, because not
Yeah.
everyone's going to have that kind of forefront and that intuition that you had.
Yeah.
You know, also it seems like you're like to me, like just like even hearing you speak and like checking out some of your stuff, like you're like a student of life, it seems like. Like you take these different experiences and you're like, I'm going to use that. I'm going to see what they did and I'm going to put it behind it. And like you might see that it didn't work out for them right away and it took time. So you're like, we got to wait our time.
Yeah.
But other people are so boxed into their own little echo chamber. They're like, if it doesn't, and like they want that quick satisfaction.
Yeah.
Where you were like understanding, like, you know, good things take time.
Yeah. And I had to understand that because I knew from where I was coming from, how far we were. At the time, I was like, from where I'm coming from, this is like, we're in a whole nother stratosphere. So I kept saying to myself that I just got to keep going.
Yeah.
And it's going to blow up. It's going to get bigger. But one of the things was no one else could see that. No one else wasn't feeling that, man. Like, no, all the guys weren't seeing that. As I say, the guys weren't seeing that.
Yeah.
And I didn't, so I was like, after a while, I was like, you know what? I'm not going to fight anybody no more. And we took time and everyone decided they want to do their own thing and
separate ways.
And at the end of it all, it was like, it was me and Natalie held it down at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? And I told her that I flipped everything around. And I decided, like, you know what? I got all these plans looking at me. Like, imagine, I got 50-page business plans here for artists. I got plans for songs. I have all these plans just looking at me. And like literally, they're there, actual plans written.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what am I gonna do with all this? So I said, nah. I said, you know what? I'm gonna take all of that and wrap it around this guy.
Oh yeah, I feel like you had to at that point.
Yeah, I had to. I was thinking, go find somebody else and go replace everybody. But then I was like, you know what? I ain't going down that path anymore. I said, not right now.
Yeah.
I said, I'm not gonna do that right now. I'm gonna take me. And someone told me that. Someone's like, Joel, listen, you have a very strong vision, and your vision will blind people. You know, and that was some wise words when a person said, Joel, your vision is blinding people, you know, because people ain't seeing it. Your foresight is so far ahead that they just can't see it, man.
Yeah.
They just can't see it, man. It said you're not doing nothing wrong. You're just telling things to people that they're just not ready to see. He said, trust me, give them time, they'll see it.
Yeah, but they're gonna see it once you already made that happen.
Yeah, when you see, and at that point now, it's like,
yeah, see you later.
What do you want me to do now? You know, so I began to create. That's when I decided to say, like, for years, people knew me Ninja from Ninja Ryders. To this day, Brad still calls me Ninja all the time. But that's when I created the Joel NR Powell. Joel, I used my real name, Joel, put the NR in between, Powell. And then that's when I became the DJ, recording artist, author, and entrepreneur. And I formatted that and I said, that's me now. And I'm running with that. And I never put why DJ had to stay there, because I said I'm never letting that go.
Yeah.
I'm never letting that
That's
go.
a part of you. That's like the intricate start of your...
That's the my heart. You know, that's my heart. So I'm not letting that. I'm not. People told me, oh, Joel, maybe you should put on DJ. I said, no, never. I ain't putting on DJing. DJing, nah, that's not going nowhere.
Wow.
I have to keep that alive. And I created Joel NR Powell, the motherfucking NR superstar.
Let's go.
I created that guy. I created the next side of me. And I said that I'm gonna do things in a way where that shit ain't happening again. That's just the bottom line. I said that no disrespect to nobody, love to everybody, no matter what, but that shit ain't happening again. And I just, like, when I say that, that shit ain't happening again. Let's just know that it ain't happening again.
Someone said to me once, and related to your own business, right? And like, really, that's what you have. You have your own businesses. You're an entrepreneur. You do all these things. No one's gonna care about it or see your vision as well as you are. No one's gonna care about it as much as you will, and no one's gonna see it the way you see it until it's actually like tangible and they can actually see it.
Yeah,
you know. And it sounds like you had that foresight where you're like, you see these little things and you see this going there and this going there. And you're
Yeah.
like, we can keep building this up and it could go multiple places.
Yeah.
But it's like, not everybody is going to see it and they're not going to care about it as much as you, especially because it's like, just coming from you, listening to you talk and listening to you talk about these things, you're just a passionate guy. And I feel like at the heart of your entrepreneurship, it all starts with something you really care about.
Yeah.
Would you say that's true?
Yes, you're right.
Yeah, like
right.
Even switching, I don't want to jump into, we're going to get to your being an author, but because that also seems like something that you were passionate about, empowerment.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to picking up the documentary next week once PayPal releases my funds. We were talking about that shit earlier, man.
PayPal free up the game, man. Stop making entrepreneurship so hard, man. Come on.
I know, they're making it difficult.
Free up.
But I'm looking forward to checking it out. I was listening to some of your music as well and just checking out your stuff, trying to get an idea of who you were before I come in. But I wanted you to tell the story anyway. I just want to give it to you and you tell the story about how it comes from you. But so at that time, you're leaving, you're making a change. You're not having this Ninja Rider sound anymore. You're going with Joel NR Powell.
Yeah, Ninja Rider sound still around.
Still around?
Still around. Never left.
Never left. Okay.
Never left Ninja Rider sound. Ninja Rider sound never left. Always have Ninja Rider sound, but it's
just you.
Just me.
Just you.
I just formatted everything. Yeah.
And you were still DJing at the time, doing parties and stuff.
Yeah.
When did you start? Because you're also a hip hop artist, rapper.
Yeah.
You sing.
Yeah.
When did you transition to getting behind the mic more? And like when you were DJing, was it like, were you predominantly on the microphone?
Always on the microphone.
So you weren't selecting them as much and like playing the record?
I was selecting too. But when T was there, he was doing the selecting.
And he would be going from song to song,
and
putting the
on
records
the
on and you're on the mic and you're working with him, right?
Yeah.
Would you say, is that what kind of got you? And you were a hip hop fan before that too, right? You're just a big, growing up in the GTA.
Yeah.
In the 90s, hip hop was huge by the sounds of it. I mean, it influenced us as well. And I'm like late 90s, early 2000s. And so you got into reggae, you're DJing, you have this sound system.
Yeah, man.
When did you start to switch and be like, you know what? I'm going to go back to hip hop now. I'm going to start writing hip hop records, recording, becoming a recording artist. When did you switch to that?
In 2005. Okay, when everybody kind of decided to go their separate ways, was like officially was like in 2006. And then I decided like, okay, then that's when I went into, like I said, the mode of, okay, that shit ain't happening again. I'm going to change things not happening again.
Yeah.
And like I said, I had all these plans in front of me. I had plans for an artist, plans for sound system, all these plans. But these plans were written specifically for the people who were my team. I wrote these plans for them.
So you were specifically like, you're trying to build this unit, but you're also trying to give these people individual paths.
Yeah, exactly.
For their own career.
For their own careers.
And like to be a part of this thing that you're building.
Yeah, I did. I had a 50-page marketing plan written for Kid Madness.
So you're artist, you're manager.
Yeah. I wasn't an artist at the time.
No.
I wasn't rapping, doing none of that stuff.
No, but you're a DJ.
Yeah, DJ
you're a selector. You're doing all that. You're MC.
My brain I had a bigger vision where eventually someone was going to take even my spot on Ninja Riders.
And you're going to be in the back.
And I'm going to be in the back.
P. Diddy style.
I was always in this more masterpiece.
More Master P. Let's go. Make them say,
not really P. Diddy. I ain't getting up. I'm not going to be up in your videos.
You're not having a shiny suit or anything like that?
I ain't going to be all up in the videos.
Oh, no, respect.
I ain't going to, pay that. I ain't into all that, man. I'm more, I was trying to be more like the brainchild of the big ideas.
Yeah.
So I was trying to even phase myself away from sound system. A lot of people don't know that. I was not saying I was retiring, but I said that I would do more other things when it came to sound system. No more of the local parties. I more do the bigger stuff later on.
Yeah.
I was trying to phase myself away from that. So that's why I wrote a 50-page marketing plan again for T. For him to push Ninja Riders.
Wow.
People don't know that.
You're trying to give him this thing and be like, you're taking the reins
I was giving him
now.
Ninja Riders.
Wow.
So let him run that. I felt like, okay, I was like I gave up on it because I knew what he could do with it. I knew how powerful he is.
That's selfless in that point. To be like, I don't need to be the front man. I don't need to be the head of this. I see you with this.
Yeah,
let me just be the one to help you now and you take it to this next level.
Yeah. I felt like he could do that. I felt that in my heart. That
not everyone would be like that. Some people would get like too pretentious and stuck in their own ways and be like, that's mine. At the
end of the day, the vision was always making NR Entertainment a globalized brand. So you cannot you can't, like, if you're trying to grow a plant, you can't put your hand over the plant and expect it to grow. You know, you gotta keep moving your hand and let the plant flourish naturally.
Mm.
You know, so everything you need to make people shine in order for them to grow. So I said, if I put a man in a position to grow, he's gonna grow.
Yeah.
So that's why I laid out the game plan. You
Mm.
know, being the brains of the operation, let me lay out the game plan and show people you don't have to follow my plan to a T. You can just
Yeah.
look through it, but this is the plan. And you can change the game through this. Like, let's do that. And I would take my time and come up with the next big idea, and we keep flipping them. And then before you know it, it's a full-fledged entertainment powerhouse even in front of you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And we all living good.
Yeah.
Everybody's happy. You know, because I wanted to put people in leadership. Because I don't like telling people what to do.
Mm.
I like showing people what should be done.
And then have
them take it to what they feel is the best. I mean, I ain't the guy, oh, do this and do that. Like, no, you're my child, man.
Yeah.
You know,
you want to give them some of their own autonomy.
You know, you want to have something that you can handle and hear.
Yeah.
So when like one of the things in my Ninja Ryders business plan was to flood the streets with mixtapes.
Mm.
At the time, go back to what we originally were doing with older music, but flip it and put it on CDs and flood the streets with mixtapes.
Mm-hmm.
And I did that. I did that by myself. I flooded the streets with over 200 mixtapes.
Wow.
Yeah, that started in 2006. I flooded the streets. I probably, honestly, man, probably pushed out maybe upwards units and volume-wise, maybe up to 20,000.
You got copies of these?
All of them to this day.
Ah,
yeah,
man.
All of them to this day. Yeah. My mixtapes got so big in the underground market in Toronto that VP Records in New York called my phone, wanted to know, how am I doing this? They asked me, how are you doing this? How are you flooding
you're doing distribution at that point. You're doing everything.
I literally said to myself that I'm gonna put out Ninja Ryders song mixtapes. I put out old music. I did them live mixes straight to CD. I put them out there, and it flooded.
Sick.
And then VP Records stepped to me, asked me if I could do a mixtape for them.
Wow.
Yeah. They asked me, that came about in 2015. They asked me to do their album. They're working with an Italian reggae artist named Albarossi. Shout out to Albarossi. You know, and they asked me to do the Albarossi and Friends mixtape for them.
Sick.
Yeah, and I did. You can listen to that on their SoundCloud page to this day.
I'm gonna pull it up.
Yeah,
yo, definitely.
You know, it's me talking over it live sound system style. Yeah, because they loved it, and that mixtape has over what? I think almost.
Wait, that's on SoundCloud?
Yeah,
I think
on a VP SoundCloud page. Yeah,
I found because when I was going through doing research, I found your SoundCloud page, and I saved one of them. I don't know if it was that one or not.
Yeah, I can send the link for that later too.
Yeah.
That has over like almost what? I think 400,000 streams on that.
Sick, man.
And that was going mostly, like, everybody on that was commenting from Europe. Because most of the people most of Albarossi's fan base is Europe.
Because he's Italian.
Yeah, so it was like, he's a Jamaican Italian. So it was like, when I was reading the comments, I couldn't even understand what they were saying. I had to like highlight it and then Google it to see what the person was saying. Yeah? Because nobody's writing in English.
No. So nowadays on Instagram, you can click see translation.
Yeah, so I was reading, what was this person saying? And I clicked that. But originally, that idea was for T to do that. It wasn't for me to do that.
Gotcha.
So that opportunity would have been his opportunity.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So that's to show you an example. That opportunity would have been his opportunity.
Did they come back and like when these things started to happen and like line up like that? Did they ever you ever get that come back to you and be like, damn, you really did see it, or like you were like ahead of our curve and like we wish we could have stuck together? Like, they ever come back and talk to you about that?
Well,
or was it just
at the end of the day, we never had, we had little issues personally, but I never held nothing against nobody.
No.
I just kind of let it go.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, my main concern, honestly, was always that I can't let the dream die.
Respect.
So I wasn't mad at nobody. I wasn't, even if I ain't talking to you as much as I used to, man, I ain't mad at you. I wish you the best.
Yeah.
It's just like, I just can't let this die. So you don't have to do it. You don't have to even like what I'm doing. But bro, the vision has to continue, man. I can't stop it because of what you think or whatever. Like, you gotta do you now, And at the end of the day, if we cross paths later on in life, no problem. But overall, the way I move with NR Entertainment is that you have to have a vision to be a part of this. I'm not accepting because I know you.
You're not just, people aren't just
No.
along for the ride.
No, it's not. I'm not gonna accept in my life, period, because I know you or because you're a brethren. Nah, because I've taken a lot of
your blood, sweat, and tears.
Blood, sweat, and tears is one, but one of the main things I've taken is I've taken a lot of hits. A lot of hits when it comes to disrespect. Because one thing people don't understand when you're an entrepreneur is that, and you're going after a higher purpose in life, it comes to a lot of disrespect. Because people are going to look at you and be like, yo, what's this guy, what's this guy doing, man? Go get a job, man.
You think it comes from jealousy in a sense?
It comes from jealousy in one.
Or their own unhappiness of not being able to do
a lot of people are insecure.
Yes.
A lot of people are insecure. And a lot of people are unhappy.
Yeah.
They are.
I think so.
One of the main things, I worked in a nursing home, man. I worked in a nursing home for 5.5 years. And one of the things I learned working around elderly people, honestly, by listening to them when they talk to me, is that the elderly encouraged me to go after my dreams more than people my age.
Wow. Do you think that comes with experience that they've had, that they learned?
They told me stories that made me cry.
Wow. I bet.
They told me stories like an elderly man, God rest his soul, Mr. Gordon Effort. Good man, very kind-hearted man. I work in a nursing home. He was a resident there. And he used to write reference letters for me without me even asking him, telling me to get myself out of that place. Because he said to me, you have a calling. You shouldn't be here. He said to me, because me and him, I used to tell him about my goals and what I want to do with my life. And he was like, no, you shouldn't be here. And he's like, one of the biggest things, he said, no, he told me he said the number one killer in this world is regret.
Wow.
This is a man who was 80, in his 80s at the time, told me the number one killer in this world is regret. When people get old, what kills them is regret.
Yeah.
They look back on all the things that they did not do.
Yes.
And that's what kills them. He said that's what creates the diseases, that's what creates the issues, the blood pressure problem, the heart, all those, he said, you name the ailment, it comes from that word. Regret. They did not live their life the way they wanted to. They're not happy. I said happiness, when it's not in your mind and in your body and in your spirit, it'll create disharmony in the body. And it will force things to go wrong because you're not happy.
Yeah.
You're just not happy. You're living your life in a way where you're trying to convince yourself to be happy.
Yeah.
Like you're saying, okay, like you're waking up every day, going to this job you hate. You hate the job. And when someone tells you, someone comes to you saying, man, why don't you do this and this? No, you don't understand. I got to work. I got to get a job. And then because you got to convince yourself that you're doing the right thing here.
Yeah.
Someone even tells you, man, maybe you should try to, oh, no, you don't understand. I got to keep my job. Because if you don't do that, you got to face the reality that, okay, then I ain't happy. And no one wants to say that to themselves. No one wants to admit they ain't happy.
And that they've fallen into this trap.
And they fell into that trap. They don't want to admit that. So then the time takes over now. And days turn into weeks turn to days and months and then years. And before you know it, regret settles in.
Yeah, I see. I totally understand and relate with that, because it's like when I was thinking about leaving my old job, a nice corporate job, I was like, just working my way up the corporate ladder. Hated it. My wife knew I hated it. She'd tell me all the time, like, what do you got to figure something else out. I can't have you coming home every night. And like, you're just like, I'm bitching about whatever, like my day, so-and-so in accounting, blah, 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 whatever. Like, oh my God. And I hate small talk too. Like I hate fake conversations. Like I don't want to sit around the water cooler and like, just like bullshit and like worry about changing the way that I speak, Cause like, I'm just like, it just doesn't soothe my soul. Like I just try to be like real with people, talk to you on like a personal basis. Like I respect how you talk, you respect how I talk, like we're good. But like, I don't want to have to change my ways and like put on that outfit every day, man, put on that mask, And one of the things that I talked to with my dad was before I left was, was before I finally, like I opened the business and I was doing both.
Yeah.
And my mom, God bless her, she's like, well, she knew I had a good job, right? And I hated it though. And she's like, can you do both? I'm like sitting there, I'm like, no. Like in my head, I'm like, no, the only reason I'm doing this, I'm trying to find an out where I don't, hate myself and filled with regret and be unhappy. Cause even though I would trick myself and be like, I did a good day at work here. Like, you know what? I could, whatever, but I wasn't happy about it.
Yeah.
And it wasn't, I had the conversation with my dad and he's like, you're young, you can always get another job. He's like, you don't want to look back when you're my age and like regret that you didn't try something. Like he said that. And I was like, yeah. I was like, do you want to be like old and be like, I wonder if what would have happened? It's like, what's the worst happens? You try it out. It doesn't work. You can go back and get another job. Like, you have trouble finding a job? I'm like, no, I'm a pretty personable person. I can get along with most people. Put me in an interview. I should do all right. So I was like, you know what? I'm not too worried about that.
Yeah.
So work it out and like take that chance. And I'm so much happier because of it. Obviously it's still a rough road, small business trying to we moved to Toronto, rent's a little different down here than it is in my little town.
Yeah.
But figuring it out and like, even though I don't have that same security, even though I might have a less money at the time, like for now, we're building, eventually we'll get there.
Yeah.
But I'm like so much more happier.
Yeah.
And I can like see these little moments, like I get a new client in here or I have something, or even starting this podcast and, getting these interviews in. And I'm feeling that fulfillment now,
Yeah.
And I sense it too when I talk to certain people that they're stuck in that world still.
Yeah.
Or whatever world it is. Like they might be into like racing or they might be into like, I don't know, bowling, whatever they're into.
Mm-hmm.
And they're just like really into that, but they have to go be this other person 5 days a week, 40 plus hours.
Yeah.
Think about how many hours you have in a day. You're out there from like 9 to 5. That's most of your day. That's most of your time that you're spending doing something you don't want to do because society has told you that you need to have this job and you need security and safety. But like when you realize like life's really just about the journey and the journey's not going to be perfect the whole time. And you realize that's what it is.
Yeah.
You feel a lot more free and you have a lot more enjoyment. And like I'm not worried about other things anymore. This person has this person that. I'm just happy where I'm at, doing my thing, spending my time, working with clients, trying to build this out, having these podcasts, having these interviews, having this conversation we're having now. I'm just enjoying that. And that means more to me than having to like climb a corporate ladder and maybe make X amount of dollars. I'm like, I'll cut those dollars out to get like these experiences that actually like mean something and are more real, because in all those environments, it just felt like they were phony and it wasn't me. So it's like following what you want. You don't want to end up with regret like when you're older.
You see, no, when you say that, right? You're saying something that's miles ahead of you. And that's what's gonna transcend your children's lives. That's gonna send your children's lives. The fact that you're thinking like that right now. And that's what some people don't understand is that when your brain is thinking like exactly what you just said, you pass those things on. You're going to create a bunch of people who are going to change this world, make this world greater because you're telling them the future. What happened a lot of times when I was growing up was that you're being forced to play along. I was, because as much as I got my dad inspired and influenced me, it was never like, go after this. It was more like, I decided to go after this. And like I said, when I talk about the disrespect and the hits, is because you have to go. I went about this raw, like literally like raw, where it's like, after a while, there ain't no more support because, like, for example, I'm working for the city of Toronto, government job. Working for the city of Toronto. Working at a nursing home, it's climb, like you just said, climb the ladder. Security. Like, come on, they won't let you go. It's unionized. And then I'm saying one day, okay, then I finished college in 2005. I'm like, okay, you know what? I ain't doing this no more. I don't do this job no more. I did enough of this. I'm done with this job. And I go and give my resignation. I said to all my bosses, I said, listen, you know what? Been here. I was there through my whole college years, part of high school and my whole college years. Finished school. I'm like, what am I still doing here? Like, I said, I saved up some money. I said, you know what? I need to go into NR full time. And no more of this bootstrapping, man. I gotta kill that now. Kill the bootstrapping vibe and go into this full time. And I got a lot of disrespect. I was just blunt disrespect. People saying that's stupid.
You're crazy.
I'm like, what the hell is wrong with you? I was, you're crazy.
But they're stuck.
What do you think? What do you think? Watch what's gonna happen when you do that? I'm like, what the? And it was shocking because you don't expect that. You're thinking, okay, then you know what? I was younger, but now I know. But back then I was like, nah, man, the support and we'll come together. But no, it was the opposite. So I tell people today that if you want to be, an entrepreneur, and you're not gonna go through the disrespect,
Yeah.
go through the put downs, go through the hardships, I don't mean hardships in the sense of, not having a job. I'm talking about hardships where like literally you got to be sometimes contemplating, should I pay the rent? Should I pay the mortgage? Or should I buy food? When you reach into that level,
dude, I feel you.
When you reach into that, when you contemplate, okay, then no. Do we really need to eat today?
Maybe we just like share this meal.
We can share. McDonald's does have 2 can 9. Split that.
Yeah.
Do we okay? Okay. How much money you have on that credit card? Maybe we can give the light bill that.
Yeah.
And then put that on the phone bill, and then hopefully they don't cut it off, and you're crossing your fingers.
And you're like, I know they'll let this go longer than the light bill. Or
I delayed the phone bill this week, but man, I gotta pay the light bill because we're on our second notice of cutting it off. Like, if you ain't gone through that, if you haven't slept on a couple air mattresses, if you haven't gone through, if you haven't gone through some ramen noodles, if you haven't gone through macaroni and cheese 7 days a week,
dude,
if you haven't done that, then you have no idea what you're embarking on as an entrepreneur. If you've experienced that, you're on the right track.
Yeah, because people just expect that you're going into that, you're doing it because it's just, like I get questions all the time. It would drive me nuts. I'm just starting out. They're like, oh, like, how's it going? How much money you making? How much you doing this? What's this? They're asking for like these numbers. And I'm like, bro, I'm coming in, I'm feeling great because I figured something out. Like, how to like do this camera thing or like how to make something look better or whatever. And I'm hyped on that. And I know eventually that'll lead to something.
Yeah.
But all they're saying is like, well, how much money did you make from that? How much dollars did you get from that?
Yeah.
And I'm like, nothing right now. And it's like, but it's like, I'm getting all these experiences that, and you know what? You're talking to, a lot of times we're talking to these people who haven't done that and don't understand how it works. And they're trying to give you advice. And you're like, you literally go to a job 5 days a week. I know you work hard. I know you do your thing, but like, you don't know what it's like to like, just have to figure it out on your own. Have to like, pull things together and make it work. And like, this is how it should go. Like, like, why am I going to listen to somebody telling me like, oh, like, should you really do that? Is there money in that? Like, nothing about podcasting.
One of the first things I had to learn, and I teach people this. I teach people this technique, the shutdown remedy. And it's a shutdown remedy, and I practice it like an art form. I have it underneath a Bruce Lee technique now. Literally, when I'm in certain conversations, literally, and it happened to me about a month ago, where I'm in certain conversations where people are asking me about my career and my goals. We could talk, we're good. But when I start hearing certain words, and you have to pay attention to the words, but you got to also pay attention to how you're feeling. If the conversation is shifting your feelings, pay attention. And you're going to listen, people are going to say things like, you tell them, oh man, I have this podcast, I have this, and then they come to you, but, so how much do you make every week? If you feel like, okay, then no.
They're asking that for a certain reason.
For a certain reason. You're gonna feel it.
Yeah.
You're gonna feel it within yourself. Cut. End it. Like somebody gotta be like, oh Flip, what time is it now? Man, I gotta go. I'll be right back. Honestly, because if you stay there, these people are self-esteem suckers. They're like a vacuum, and they just latch onto your self-esteem and they turn on the power. And they just suck it out of you.
Because they want you to feel how they feel.
Because at that moment, in their mind, they're looking at you as a reflection of what they wish they had done. So now when you start feeling, when you come with all that happiness, and to them, that's called bragging. For them, that's called showing off.
But it's passion.
But to us, it's passion.
Yeah.
So you got to learn I tell people, man, when you're an entrepreneur, protect your energy, man. Don't get caught up into, bro, I've been in some moments where I'm like happy, and then when I leave, I'm like, what the fuck did I just, because I didn't see it. I got caught up into this conversation where all of a sudden, they just start, it's not questions about what are you doing and how things, it's about, so you're not making, how long you been doing this? You're not making any money? And I'm like, what the,
they don't get it.
Huh? And also I'm like, what the hell? How did I get from what? Didn't you just act? What the? Whoa. But I invited that conversation because I didn't walk away. You don't have to listen to that. You don't have to insult them. You don't have to disrespect them. You just gotta walk away. Find the outlet and leave. Cut it. Don't debate. Don't just like, yo, man, you know what? sometimes I told a man the other day, listen, man, honestly, I don't think you understand what I'm doing. So let's just end this conversation. You have a nice day. And I walked away.
Nice.
And I just walked away. I just like literally walked away. Walked away. Left him standing right where he was. Walked away. Because if I stood up there, I probably would have knocked his ass out.
Or it would have just like ruined your disposition for the day.
No, man, I was gonna knock his ass out. Man. I'm gonna be real. I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah, be real. We honest in here.
I was gonna knock his ass out clean
fair.
because his mouth was getting a little bit too loose.
He was getting a little disrespectful.
Yes, he was getting because he was harping on money and the income and you should be making and I'm like, bro. I'm like, first of all, in my head, I'm like, I wanted to say to this dude, bro, honestly, man. You've been working the same job for like 30 years and you making the exact same amount of money and you talking to me?
Yeah.
What is this? What are we doing here now? So I was like, you know what? Because when you flip it to them, they can't handle it, man.
Because they're not even happy.
They're not happy at all. So it's like you're picking on a child now, you know. You're picking on a little kid here. Even though it's a grown person in front of you, it's like you're picking on a little kid. Because their emotional state is of a child. Yeah. So when you attack back, they don't know how to take it. So because we're already strong and we know what we're doing, it's best for us to be the bigger person and walk away.
Wow.
I just walk away. I just said to him, you know what, bro? I honestly don't think you understand what I'm talking about here. You don't get my career. You don't get my profession. So it's cool. Don't worry about it, man. We're good. I cut. End it.
And you're not going to be able to like change that person's way of thinking, especially in that moment.
Because in those moments, it becomes a debate. Because they're ready to debate you.
And they're married to the way that they do it. Like they're married to their ideas.
They're married to their ideologies.
They can't change their
so
way
much
of thinking.
To the point that they're willing to like get confrontational with you to prove a point. Yeah. That's why I learned. And an elder told me this before. He said, Joel, listen, not everybody needs to know, man. You don't need to justify your movement to everybody. Let it, like, not everybody needs to hear that. You don't need to prove to these people you're on the right track.
Yeah.
He said, Joel, okay, you convinced this guy you're doing the right thing. What are you going to get for it? A prize? You're going to get a trophy? You're going to get a plaque? What do you get for it? Nothing. So let it go. Yeah. Learn to walk away. Don't engage in those conversations. Engage with people who actually care about what you're doing. That's it. So go around with people who want to hear what you're doing. Talk about what you're doing. Leave them people alone. Those stuck in their ways people, that's how it's supposed to be people. Leave them alone.
Yeah.
And I had to learn that because I used to be like, man, no, I'm defending it.
Yeah.
And then
you stopped taking it personal at that point.
And he said, that's going to mash you up.
Yeah.
So when you come they're already living their life the way they want. So when you leave, you had to find a way to figure out within yourself to get back to how you were feeling before.
Yeah. Yeah. Like you ever been around those people and like they just like suck the energy out of you? And you're like, what am I doing here? Like, and it's like, you feel it in the room. Like they just like kind of cast their own insecurities and shit across there. And I don't know. I'm a big energy person and I feed off of people. Like,
exactly.
Like, so if I'm around somebody and they're just negative, complaining, just piss poor demeanor on everything. Yeah. It's like, I just can't, it's hard to talk to them for me.
Exactly. And that's what I had to learn. Don't engage with these people, man. You got to leave them where they are because you can't change that. Not everybody awakens at the same time. You got to learn to you can't fight someone else's battles for them. So when you're telling these people about all these positive things and they're in a negative state, all they're hearing is like
the negative stuff.
They're trying to find a way to get to the negative. They're trying to find a way. No matter how positive it sounds, they're trying to find a way. Okay, yeah, but you said you made that. Did you make this? Okay, you said you did. And it's like, how long are you gonna do that?
Yeah.
And for what? So, I had to learn. I took a lot of hits, man. I took a lot of hits to try to think I could convince in that moment, but I learned to say, listen, man, politely walk away.
Huge.
Sometimes my phone will mysteriously ring, and I just I cut because I'm not continuing that conversation. It's an energy draining conversation, man. And I found myself one time. It happened with me and someone I really cared about. And it was tough because it was someone I respected a lot, and it hurt me personally because it was like I thought they believed in me, and then they started tearing me apart. Like, oh, you should have went and got a job, and you should know what you're still doing this for. And I was like, but I was like, honestly, man, I was tongue tied. I didn't know how to even rebuttal them because I never thought them would have done that. But when I realized at the end of the day, I was like, yeah, okay, I realize what the problem is now. When the smoke cleared and I had time to settle and think about it, I was like, okay, I'm living the life that literally he's in the music industry as well too.
Mhm.
So, but I went way farther than he ever did. Like literally, like it's not even up for debate.
So he's bitter.
Bitter.
Mm.
Bitter and angry because
You stuck to your dream.
everything he wanted, he seen me doing it. And what the funny thing was, what he was trying to tear me apart about, he used to compliment me about that. That's what made it even more clear to me.
Mm.
The same things he was trying to tear me apart with, he used to compliment me with those same things. But all of a sudden now, because he started, his life wasn't working out for him. He got old. He's older now, in his 70s now, but has all this regret of what he could have been. And a lot of people, I don't want to say the person's name, put him on blast,
we don't need to air him
but
out,
literally, a lot of people I met that know him told me the amount of opportunities he had that he pissed off, that didn't take it seriously enough, didn't go after it because the job, I gotta work the job, and
Didn't take the
didn't
chance.
take the chance, and opportunities came from all walks of life, but didn't let go of what he already was doing, didn't take a chance and gamble on himself, and then here's me now, younger dude, like jumped off the cliff, no parachute, nothing, just jumped, and he's still on the top of on the edge of the cliff, was looking down, wondering what it's like, watching everybody sail around, wondering, and that's what opened up the door for me to realize that when after that happened, I was like, no, this is not happening again to me. I'm not letting people do that to me, because I remember, bro, I'm not lying to you, man. It took a few days for me to get myself back into my groove. Because it was really that deep. It was
someone you respected, right?
Yes, respected with all my heart, man. Brad knows the person too as well. Yeah, he could tell you, man. He knows the person too, man. And it was like, wow.
You're like, how am I hearing this from you?
That's all people. Of all people, I was like, you
should understand.
When I looked at him, and I didn't even know. I'm a wordsmith, man, and I did not even know how. I was so like
shocked.
I was just like, when he was done, I was just like, okay,
damn.
I didn't know what to say to him. I just looked at him like, okay, well, all right, and I was like, the whole time I was just like trying to figure, okay, then no, that should I throw myself off at this bridge or that bridge? Because I was like, what the hell, this man, but. After that feeling, I was like, never again.
Nah, you learned from it.
I learned. That's why I tell people who are entrepreneurs. I tell people who are go-getters. People are going after their creative endeavors. Don't let these people do that to you, man. Don't let these, I don't care. I call them like I see them, energy-sucking people do that to you.
Yeah.
Don't let them take their insecurities and their lack thereofs and their whatever's going on in their life and plop it on yours. Don't let them do it, man. Don't invite it into your energy. Don't do it. No matter who they are to you, because you're going to be the one to deal with that later on. Because we're human beings, man. Later on, you may be in the shower and you may be like, man, what did he say that to me for? And, and it's going to play on your brain. So it's like, don't invite it.
Yeah.
Don't invite it. As soon as you sense that gut feeling, like, what's this guy talking about?
Yeah.
You're gonna feel it. You're gonna feel that. You're gonna be like, what the heck? What are you saying? What the?
You start replaying the conversation.
When you start thinking about that, okay, cut, get out of there.
Waste your time even thinking about that.
Don't do that, man. Don't do that.
Yeah.
I had to learn, bro. I had to learn from experience. Like I said, man, took a lot of hits, man. A lot of hits, man.
Yeah.
To get the dream alive and to keep the dream alive, man.
Nice.
Yeah, man.
Hey, man. No, it seems like you come from a lot of experience, and taking that on and like learning that build to where you are now.
Yeah, man. It's something that a lot of us don't want to go through. You know what I'm telling you, man.
But you have to.
But you
like.
have to. You do, and that's the thing. I hate telling people these stories and then have to turn and say, but you gotta go through it because it sucks, man. It's really, it hurts.
Yeah.
But it's like if you don't go through it, I'm telling you, you're not gonna be prepared to handle the success. Because the pain comes before the pleasure. You gotta go through that, them hard moments. You got to. Like, that's what strengthens you to say, okay, then.
You need both.
I can do this. You gotta go through that. You can't stop. Like I know people who did hurry come up lifestyles, which means in Jamaican terminology, like you got through, boom, one shot, got everything, and then now back to the ground again because they didn't earn it.
No, you need like it's like you need to, to enjoy the light. You need the darkness. Like the whole thing with like yin and yang, right? You know that how they have like the perfect amount, like that symbol has the perfect amount of the of the black and the white, and then with a little thing in there, it's like that balance.
You need that, man. You do. Without that balance, man, you're not gonna be able to function.
It's like you can't sit in the shower. Showers are great, but you can't sit in there all day.
No, with sunshine, you need rain.
Yeah,
it's just
you're not gonna appreciate it.
You can't value it without. And my struggles made me appreciate the blessings. I'm telling you, if I never struggled, I wouldn't know how to appreciate the blessing. But I had to. I've gone through some stuff where I'm like, what the flip? Like, who the hell put this curse on me? What the heck's going on? But then when I went through it, I'm like, oh.
And you're grateful.
I'm like, dang, that's what that was about. I'm like, ooh, thank God I went through that.
Yeah.
Because it protected me from a lot of things that I never saw happening.
And it gives you that kind of like, it gives you that kind of barometer of like understanding the gratefulness when something good does happen.
Yeah. It
doesn't just kind of sweep under the rug. It's like, you have that kind of balance. Yeah, man, I'm learning a lot just like picking it up from like your experiences and like hearing you talk about like just this last part. I'm already seeing like a bunch of good clips that we got to put on social media after because I think people will get a lot from it.
Man, there's like a lot of things that's even happening right now, man. I can't talk about that part because some legal stuff behind it.
Yeah,
I ain't in no trouble with the law and all that, but it's just like I got to get through that hurdle. And another thing about, again, when we do the next one again, I'll share that.
Yeah.
That's another story another thing entrepreneurs, especially people in the arts, need to know.
No, definitely, man. I appreciate it. I'll definitely get you back
that's
in
something
there.
I definitely.
So you don't live in Atlanta. You're just down there all the time?
No. I have a home down there. Yeah. But I'm traveling back and forth right now.
So you're back in Toronto a lot.
Yeah, for the temporarily right now. Yeah. But I want to move. I didn't want to leave America at all, man. But again, it's a lot of.
Your family's still here in Toronto though?
Nah, my mom and dad are here. Yeah.
Nice.
But,
so you gotta come back occasionally.
Yeah. But a lot of things, man. A lot of personal issues with that, man.
For sure.
So it's like I'm more doing my thing in America. When I went to America, man, it changed my whole life, man. I wish I wanted to go to America. Actually, another part of my life people don't know. I wanted to go to Howard University. In Washington D.C.
Nice.
I actually applied to go.
Yeah.
But I never had the help to make that happen at the time, man.
Especially in the States, it's expensive and it's tough.
Yeah, to go to Washington D.C. But yeah, man. But yeah.
Sick. Cool, man. I mean, we're still rolling anyway.
Yeah.
But
continue, man. Whatever you want to ask, man. I got you.
No, I appreciate you. Just pull the mic in a little closer.
Yeah.
Beauty. Yeah, wow. I think man, that's amazing. I think they're gonna get a lot of gems that people will get from this conversation. Hearing your experience and like the way you talk about entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
Following your creative paths. Knowing when to like kind of shut down the negativity and like stick to it, because a lot of entrepreneurs, man, I feel like it's easy to get discouraged nowadays.
Yeah, hold on to that phone, man. Thank you.
Yo, no worries.
Yeah.
Yo, it's easy to get discouraged, so it's like nice to hear someone like, who's been in the game for so long, who's done so many different things, like be able to talk about that and like how you get through it. So shifting out of the music, dude, did we even answer when you started becoming, I feel like we went in another direction, but when you started to become an artist and you started writing raps, writing songs and recording, like when was that transition? And was it an easy transition for you?
Okay. Just like, again, I have too much similarities with Eazy-E. A lot of Eazy-E similarities, man. I have a story about that too, because I have a story about the track me and his son recorded. Yeah.
Yo, really?
Yeah, me and his son, little Eazy-E. There's a story, that's track 7 on the 7 Issues EP. They Look at Me, talking about the police, and track 7 on that EP. They Look at Me, and recorded up in Long Beach. Yeah, man, that was an experience, man. That was an incredible experience. And a lot of stories behind that. But when I first started rapping, like, okay, everybody was shocked that I went into rap. First of all, tell you that part. Everyone was shocked. Joel's a rapper? Joel's a reggae man. Joel do not write in rap music, man. Joel get lost. Joel's confused. That's what happened. I'm being
Is he
real.
losing it?
I'm being real. People are like, what happened to this guy? Like, Jamaican people are like making fun of me. Like my crew, they're poking fun of me. Like, what happened to you? What about rap? What you know for rap? Rap, man, you stop it. Go DJ 2 tune for the people, man. Go play 2 record. What happened to you about rapping? Yeah, this guy, man. The guy's lost. But then I was like, I had to explain. Say, listen, man. The years me I play music, man, and I select on microphone. I was like, when I'm not a dancehall artist, man. I can't spit the patois like that. I can't. And I'm like, if I can't do it to the magnitude that I know I need to do it, I ain't gonna do it. Like if I can't be 100% and more, I ain't gonna 95 and 90 or 65 you and think that's gonna get over, man. So I said, I can't be a reggae artist.
Yeah.
Right? I love reggae music. Complete, do it sound system, record, no problem. But as an artist, I said, nah. That's a different, people need to realize, being a reggae artist is a whole new directional path of life.
Yeah.
That it's like an episode of Star Trek. You're going where no man has gone before when you're a reggae artist, yeah? Because I've seen it. I've seen the lifestyle, and I know a lot of prominent reggae artists. It's not what you think. It's a rugged, grimy, rough road as a reggae artist. I'm not talking about hip-hop, reggae artists. And it's not something that I would recommend for anybody, man.
No?
At all. And I'm talking about this like because I have hands-on experience in it. Directly. That if you want to be a reggae artist in 2022, Kinko's is available. Walmart's not too far up the road. There's a Dollarama not up there. McDonald's. Here's some other. I'm giving people options because in 2022, and this is some real stuff here. I'm not making fun of nobody. I'm not knocking nobody's dreams. Nothing. I'm never gonna do that. I'm joking around with the moment, but I'm telling people the truth. Reggae music is not set up for you to make money. It's as simple as that. The system of reggae is not. I'm a sound system man. And when I tell people what I did to make money as a sound system selector, they'll be like, what the hell? I said, yeah. Like, for example, look. Right on Ninja Ryders sound sweater. Right here. Shame.
You still got some for sale?
Yeah, I still got them for sale. Same on my website. You can go
I'm gonna pick some up.
NinjaRyders.com. NinjaRyders.com. I got to renew my domain name, by the way. Flip. Yeah, NinjaRyders.com. I wore this sweater today because this is the last time I clashed.
Hey.
I had on this sweater.
Some history in that sweater.
Man, the Jamaica Day competition in 2017. Right? That's the last time. Because I don't clash often. And I whooped their ass up and down the place and walked away with my trophy. So that's what made me. That's why I wore this sweater today. The same hat too. My hat too and everything, man. Nice. I wore this. That's what I had on the day to clash that day, and I had my sweater on that day, and even I tell people that because that's why you see that's a 5-year gap. 2017. No. If I was depending on another clash or another this, another that ain't happen. Back to what I say, reggae artists is that reggae music's foundation is based on vinyl. That's reggae music right there. Records. When reggae music came off of vinyl, then the money with it went with it too, because it became a corporate thing. Because the reggae music, when artists made money when it was on a record, because reggae artists would get money for big shows and tours because of the fact that they had that big song that everybody was running down. When it came away from that, it went to this digital world. Kind
of diluted the art.
It did. And reggae music is art. No, I'm not knocking no other genre of music. I'm talking about reggae. I'm explaining to people why I did not become a reggae artist and why I did hip hop. I never told people this before. I've told Brad knows about this guy. Me and him have talked about this several times. But on a platform, I'm sharing something that a lot of reggae artists need to understand. 'Cause I'm not knocking reggae music. Reggae music is my bloodstream. I love reggae music. But you wanted to look after your family. You want to look after your children. You know, look after build a future. You're banging your head against a brick wall.
And it's kind of a different thing now in a way?
It's different.
You would say?
Now. It's very different because once it came away from records, 12-inch, 10-inch, 7-inch records, vinyl, I'm talking Pacific. Once it came off of that was it. For artists getting paid. Artists are not getting paid because their music was never owned by them. So people don't. I'll tell you why they're not getting paid. The music, all the big songs that we loved growing up, all them dancehall hits, all of them. No reggae artist owns their stuff. None.
It's all owned by the producers?
It's owned by the producers.
Wow.
They don't own none of their stuff. So they're getting peanuts.
Is there a way nowadays, though, for like artists knowing this that they can like...
Yeah, but here's the problem. Here's the problem again. Here's the problem. No, okay, then. You want to talk about, okay, then. Let's look at the older artists, right? And look at how they're going to get paid today off of those songs. Streaming.
Yeah.
How much money are they going to get when they don't own it?
Oh, like the old music.
The older music. And that's the problem. The older music is getting more plays than the newer music.
Yeah.
It is.
Fair.
The older music, you go on these streaming sites and you look at them numbers for those older songs. The older songs are getting way more push than these newer songs. But those songs are not owned by the artists. So the newer artists now, who are kind of saying, okay, that they can do their thing and who build up a little social media following and are doing their thing, they don't realize the amount of lost revenue they have. Because reggae music, again, is a tangible format. It's vinyl. But now they don't even want to put it on CDs.
What about like artists like Vibes and like Popcan and stuff? Like
Popcorn and those guys, I'm like, what's mine again, man? It's because, okay, Popcorn, for example, connected himself with Drake.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He connected himself with Drake.
Yeah.
Is
it just a smaller kind of pool for that?
The pool of reggae artists that are making money that are known today is extreme. I don't want to call names. I ain't put nobody's name out there, but you could do your research and see who's really getting paid compared to the amount of new artists you see coming out there. But it's like they're not making any money, man.
But like the ones that are, it's because they're getting like a cosign from a Drake, or they're
making money because they crossed over into mainstream,
or like a Vibes cartel.
But back in the day, it was the opposite. Hip hop needed reggae to get that push. Now reggae is running on hip hop to get that push.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, but hip hop really started in Jamaica.
Yeah.
Influence from
Kool Herc, DJ Kool Herc, yeah, and he brought that
as a DJ.
He brought that to America, yeah. So, but it's like musically, people don't really understand that reggae music was always done in reggae music is art, like Jamaican folk songs. Jamaican songs are based on Jamaican culture. Everything in Jamaican music is based on Jamaican culture. So you can't even go around it. So if you listen to Jamaican music, you listen to some dancehall sounds, you'll hear things inside of it that only relate to Jamaica. That's the Jamaican language, the lingo, everything. And Jamaica brought that to the world.
Yeah.
And it became extremely popular.
Do you think that, 100%, do you think that's why sometimes maybe it doesn't translate in America, where like, you know, even in Canada here, like we kind of like, America's like the number one, right? Like it's a spot, like, you know, I think hip hop and rap's the biggest genre in the world right now.
Yeah.
And has been for a while.
Yeah.
You know, obviously it takes a lot of influence from other genres, sampling, everything. But would you say like maybe some of it because real reggae music and it's so ingrained in like Jamaican culture that maybe it doesn't translate to some of the like, you know, the mainstream American public and that kind of thing?
No. Reggae music okay, Yellow Man, the king. My bona fide virgin, man. The king, Yellow Man. Like,
you know him too?
Yeah, I know him personally.
Oh, man.
Yeah, my friend, my mentor, my brethren.
Wow.
My one of the greatest human beings you can ever know. Shout out to King Yellow. I have to make sure, like, yo, that man is such a.
He's still touring. I follow him on Instagram.
Yes, Yellow Man's touring, man. Yellow Man.
And isn't his daughter an artist too
now? Yeah,
now?
shout out to Karima. Yeah, man. Yellow Man. I big him up for that, man, because Yellow Man is showing his daughter the game.
Yeah, they're touring together and stuff, right?
They toured together several times.
Wow.
Several times.
Sick.
Done many shows. I went to two of their shows in Georgia. One in 2019 and one this past June.
Sick.
Yeah, when he came down to Georgia, and yeah, the King, yeah, Yellow Man is one of those people, and I say this on a level. If you want to make money as a reggae artist today, I give people some free game. Look at what Yellow Man is doing, and 90% of reggae artists today can't do what Yellow Man is doing because they're not creating the musical content to do what he's doing. And that's another problem with reggae music today. The content of it. What people are putting out there is not transcending to take it into another culture and another, like I use this time about taking it into America. The reggae music of today is not doing that.
No, okay.
It's not. It's creating a push away where like people are like, okay, not I ain't bothering with that. Like recently,
is it because they don't get it in America?
No,
they just don't understand?
no, it's not because they don't get it or understand it. It's just that it's gotten too violent. It's gotten too violent. It's like back in the day, you would hear we hear gun sounds, but ain't nobody doing that. Ain't nobody going out there doing that to nobody. But over the years, that's changed. People are actually sometimes doing these things now. Like the business is kind of turning itself into like the lyrics are now turning into a reality. And people don't realize that we've kind of crossed over from fictional stories or just lyricism and talking things to all of a sudden, no, you're living that.
Well, I think even rap music's in a lot of ways is becoming the same thing,
exactly,
right? With drill music and all that stuff.
Exactly. Exactly what I'm talking about. And that's what's, again, killing the art part of it. It's
hurting it.
It's killing the art of the music, and it's turning into like where people are watching reggae and hip hop looking to build court cases. Like, what the hell is going on here? Like, in music? What the hell? But literally, that's what, going back to your original question, you're talking about why I didn't become a reggae artist, is because of those are some of the reasons right there. Because Yellow Man, God bless him, like, Yellow Man has music that came up before I was born. And I watched Yellow Man use them same songs and tear the roof off a place like it's nothing. Because why? He understands that this is a business. My job is to please and entertain the people. My job is to please and entertain the people. Do what's best for the people. And when you're a selfless individual and you're living your life like that as a reggae artist, you're never gonna lose your fans. You're always gonna have people who love you. So he's able to tour the four corners of the earth. Yellow Man's been everywhere. And he's still touring to this day. He just stopped touring when? Yellow Man stopped touring last month.
Wow.
Yeah, he was on tour for almost 6 months. Just like that, across the United States, went to England.
Yeah, go for him, man.
And I'm like, but a lot of people don't get that. They don't get that. You have to serve the people and take away these stigmas because this gangster and this gun business. You have to leave that stuff alone, because what's happening now is it's putting people in a perspective where they're like, okay, you know what? I don't want this no more. I don't want this no more. And I saw that before I became a rapper. Before I became a rapper, to say that I'm not going on that path at reggae music.
Yeah.
Because I seen reggae music was coming away from vinyl. Reggae music was coming away from the art. Everything that reggae was and should be was disappearing. And they're taking it in a whole, I said, nah, I can't do that. I ain't, not me. So I went straight into I said, I'm going to do something that I believe in and I understand, I can handle. And I went into rap music. I became a rapper. Yeah. And I took the same marketing plan, going back to that, I had for
Man with the plan,
I had for a reggae artist, and I flipped it for a rapper.
Yeah.
Me. And here I am today. Like, that's what I had to do, because I said, nah, not reggae music, man.
Sick.
Love it to the bone. Not only to feel so Joe, I don't love reggae music. I love reggae music to my soul. Love it forever. But I don't like I hate where it's going now, man. Where it's headed and what's going on with it now, man. Fair. Don't like that, man. My good reggae music, don't like that, man.
Is in reggae music? Is it the legacy acts like that have been around? Those are still what sells.
Yeah. You know, those are the people. Like, to be honest with you, when they do festivals and they do these bigger events, it's the older guys they draw for all the time, man. Look at the flyers. It's always the older heads. When I like, come on, man, we're in 2022 and nobody can outshine the older acts. Because it's like they're not. it's like there's not enough people. Listen, Yellow Man did an interview the other day. Again, I have to big up the king again. He said that when your manager is young, your agent's young, you know what I'm saying? The promoter is young. Where's the experience?
Yeah.
So who's gonna teach these artists to do better?
Mm.
You know, so that when everybody's a look a young youth, look a young person, they're just gonna keep pushing the same old thing, but they're not realizing that when things tested throughout the test of time, ain't nobody gonna want to hear them again.
Wow.
And that's sad. They don't realize that. Ain't nobody gonna want to hear them again. There's a reason why Barris Hammond and Sanchez and those guys can go on stage and lock down a good 2 hours of performances and people ain't getting bored because what they did, how they built their name and how they built their legacy. You can stand the test of time. You can't make music just for today and tomorrow and then that's it. Yeah?
Yeah.
You can't do that. And that's what happened. The art of this, man.
That's the society we're in now, right?
Yeah, man.
Is that microwave society, the quick.
No more main course meals, man. Pop it in the microwave, pop it back out. Like, no, man.
You know, a part of me thinks now, because like I'm a big Gucci Mane fan, and the Gucci Mane mixtape formula, like he was just dropping mixtape after mixtape, and a lot of artists nowadays, they were putting out a lot of music, and like it's just quick, right? Instead of like maybe there's something to it where you're like perfecting the art a little more and like spending more time with it, and not looking for that quick kind of get it and go, or like how a lot of you hear now a lot of artists and rappers, they get in the booth. They're not even writing anymore. They're just jumping in, punching in, next track, punching in. Let me find a beat. Oh, you got 10 beats. They all sound the same. I like this one. Yeah. When it's like, they're not, the ones that stand out, and I think that will stand out now, are the ones that are kind of creating new sounds and not just going for that quick, what's hot, let's follow that trend. Yeah. Let's create something new. Yeah.
Because, okay, I took 6 years. I did this EP, 7 issues, dropped in 2016. It came out February 19, 2016. And I never dropped new music until last week. Literally, last week. Why? I took this EP on a 3-year tour across the United States of America. Throughout Georgia, Florida, Nashville, and Alabama. I toured with that music before I put out any more music.
Nice.
I wanted people to hear what I had to say before I come with anything. Because the masses is so flooded with music. Ain't no shortage of new songs out there. Yeah. You can't tell me ain't no shortage of new music. If you're talking about this new music in general, there ain't no shortage of new music out there. So to make yourself stand out, you gotta put together something that's gonna stand the test of time and keep working at it. Because you may think, okay, I dropped this in 2016. Okay, then it's old now. No, it's not, bro. It's not old. How many people have heard it? How many? Like in 2019, Billboard Music reached out to me for a copy of this. Nice. In 2019, because I was selling so much in America, they reached out for a copy of it. Right, to ask me to archive it in their system because they said that it's on their radar to be charted. You know what I'm saying? And that was because of touring.
Wow.
Just touring and doing shows and touring and speaking engagements and tours and speaking and touring everywhere. And I told people, say, you got to work it. If you go on my Instagram and you search through my photos, you'll see pictures of people holding up that CD, that bought the CD at shows I did, events I did, book signs I did, speaking engagements I did. You got to work it. And you got to learn that you can't work your music where you are. So I left Toronto. I did events in Toronto for maybe about a year. And then I left Toronto. I went straight to America. Went to America from 2018 to 2021. Went straight to America. Because I said to myself that the United States, I need to see how people react to my work who don't know me. Who don't know me at all. Then that's when you get the true reaction of your music. If you want to be an artist, if you can't go in front of people you don't know and let them see it. People you know are going to be like, yeah, it sounds all right. It sounds okay. Because they know you. I expect people who know me to tell me something I did isn't good. I expect to hear that. Oh, well, that's not good. I expect that. Because they know me. But to take that to someone who doesn't know you. I'm like, yo, bro, this is... Because the people who know you, they have a lot of times they have an expectation of you to be the same way all the time. So they don't understand the art side of you. Yeah. They think that you're the person and they don't look at the art and the creativeness of what you're trying to do. Yeah. So strangers are the only ones that can tell you the truth because they have nothing to gain and nothing to lose.
They're always going to see you how they know you.
Exactly. They're gonna listen to that song and say, yo, bro, I like that song, man. That's a good track, bro. I like that. Because they're not trying to kiss your ass because there's nothing to get from it. They'll tell you the truth because, hey, man, if it sucks, they'll tell you it sucks. If it's good, they'll tell you it's good. So I brought my music in front of people who never saw me out from a fly on the wall. And I saw things I never thought I would see in my life, man. I saw the reaction. I saw people singing my songs word for word. You know what I'm saying? And then I'm in Georgia and I'm watching people buy my book, buy my film, buy my music. I'm going from state to state, tour. It was phenomenal.
Nice.
Phenomenal.
Good for you, man.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, man.
That's an experience.
You know, and that's one of the things as being an artist that I realized I couldn't get with reggae music. That again goes back to why I went to pursue hip hop, because hip hop is more of an expansion market. If you're talking business, because hip hop, if you look at hip hop back in the 90s. You know, for example, Naughty by Nature had Naughty Wear, and Wu-Tang had Wu Wear. You know, like if you look at Puffy had Sean John.
Yeah.
You know, every hip hop expands. You know, you can always expand with hip hop. You can turn it into, like, Jay-Z has the 40/40 club, and they have the restaurants, and that's what I like, the entrepreneurial side of the game. That you can't just say, okay, then music and that's it. You got to expand on things to keep because you're running a business.
Yeah.
So, especially in 2022, where, like I said, there's no shortage of music.
Yeah.
So you got to keep the fans interested in what you're doing. So you got to keep them in there. You got to come with something fresh, something different. So when I came with the book, the film, the music, it was like, what's that all about? And then opens up people's eyes again.
Yeah.
You know, to keep them interested in what's going on all the time, man.
Yeah. That's sick, man. I mean, man, we've been going for a while, so I only got so much time left on these cards before I got to change them. So I want to kind of segue in. You know, I like it. Yeah, we'll have to get you back in here sometime.
No problem at all,
and
no
dive
problem
back through. But I want to touch on. You know, we started talking to you as an artist, as a rapper. You put together this really cool project that.
Yeah.
You put together a documentary.
Yeah.
You put together a book.
Yeah.
And you have this 7-song EP.
Yeah.
And they all relate together, right?
Yeah.
And they all come together. It is called the sound. So the 7-track EP is the soundtrack from the book Black Empowerment and Minority Issues and Film Empowerment Through Awareness.
Yeah.
What was the driving force, and what was, like, how did this all come about? And, like, what made you want to do a documentary, a book, and then have the 7-track EP relate to it all?
Honestly, I'll tell you the real is that I realized that positivity is something that I felt people need to see in a different light. I got, like, again, it goes back to what I'm talking about with reggae music. I don't want to going back to the same, but with reggae music, when I grew up on reggae music being the catalyst of positivity, but Bob Marley, Dennis Brown, Bunny Wailer, Peter Tosh, all those guys, Burning Spear,
like the Lovers Rock.
Yeah. But when I got old, with hip hop, no, that representation kind of just, I don't know what happened. It's kind of just got lost in the shuffle, where it just became about, you know, your girl, money, clothes. Your girl, money, clothes. Your girl, money, clothes. Your girl, clothes, girl, your money. Girl, your money. So I'm like, what the heck happened to rap music? I'm like, so I said, yo, you know what? I'm gonna flip around. I'm gonna again do something to change this thing up a little bit, ruffle some feathers, change things up. So I grew up in Shoreham and I grew up in Rexdale, you know, Jane and Finch, and then I went to Rexdale and Orpington area. So I used to see, man, a lot of the youth, bro, don't want to read, man. They never, because the books that were put out in our schools back then, most of us couldn't relate to it.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna front. Most of us couldn't relate to it. We weren't being taught history about what black people will contribute to this world. I mean, it wasn't taught. I wasn't taught that in school. You know, I remember Black History Month would come around and it would go, and then that would have been it. So it was something I always was like, what's going on? Like, why can't we talk about things that are happening out there? I'm not saying they don't relate to other cultures, but I'm like, why can't we talk about this more than just for 20 days, 28 days, and that's it?
Should be all year.
It should be talking about everybody else all year long, talking about everything all year long. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
So when I came up with this project, I said I needed something that's gonna really put a light on the people, invisible minorities, in a way where it's not negative, man. The contributions of positivity, but at the same time, without putting no disrespect at nobody else.
No.
I just wanted to enlighten and bring forth a message so people say, hey, man, we're doing something over here that's very good. So I focus on 7 subject matters. I focus on family, entrepreneurship, faith, health, finance, relationships, and the law. Because those 7 subject matters affected my life growing up a lot. A lot. Them 7 because especially the last one, with issues with the cops, you know, like I don't have a criminal record, never broke the law, but I can tell you stories about me and the police forever because it was because of the stereotyping. People, you know, there's blatant prejudice behavior. And I had to deal with it. So when I wrote the book, I realized again that when I put the book out there, a lot of youth were like, yo, you know, this book's good, you know. So I said, yeah, but they're like, man, you know, I didn't feel they were gravitating to the book the way that they should have. So then I went like a creative. I went back to the drawing board. I said, you know what? Let me repackage this. And I went, got my own camera, and I said, yo, I'm gonna take every subject inside of this book and turn it into a film. So when I interviewed counselors for talking about family issues, I interviewed entrepreneurs, I interviewed people from churches and reverends, I interviewed doctors about health, I interviewed financial planners talking about finance, relationships coaches about relationships, and I interviewed police officers about the police. But all these people I chose them in particular, people of color, to show that, you know, you can see people come in a different light. Because too much negative stereotypes to the media. I had to show it in a way where people can see it in a positive way. That's all I want to make sure. That no more of this prejudging. Let's look at it from a positive standpoint. So when I did the film, I put together the whole entire film. Shout out to Brad, because Brad's in the film too. Because I interviewed Brad to talk about, like, you know, his entrepreneurial journey as having parents. It could be all have immigrant parents who came to this country from different walks of life, came into this country, and how they viewed him going into reggae music as a sound system guy. I wanted to hear his perspective on that. And you know, when you watch the documentary, you'll see that Brad talked a lot of stuff, a lot of jewels in there from him. And I interviewed Alan Thicke. Shout out to Joanne Thicke. She have the AIM clinic up in Brampton. I interviewed her aunt of Robin Thicke, you know, and sister of Alan Thicke, you know, Growing Pains back in the day, you know. I interviewed her, incredible interview. So when I covered those things, it really made people feel like, yo, it made them feel they could relate to this message of positivity. And then I still didn't feel like I felt like, yo, I gotta do something again. And when I came up with the 7 issues now, that soundtrack, I said to myself that I'm doing the exact same thing. Each chapter in the book, I'm gonna make a song about it. First chapter 1, first song about family, second song about entrepreneurship, third song about faith, fourth song about health, 5 song about finance, 6 song about relationships, and the last song about the law. You know, and there you went. So 7 songs, 7 issues. Talked about it. You know, so when you buy the book, which is sold out right now, soon get more copies.
Hey, let's go. Yeah. Sold out, baby. We love it.
In each at the end of each chapter is the lyrics to the song.
Nice.
That were connected to that chapter.
Nice.
Yeah. So you can read the song that inspired that chapter, the lyrics in the book. I really wanted to capture people's attention because, again, I had to learn, man, not everybody reads. Not everybody is going to sit down and read a whole book. Not everybody has time to watch a whole film, but you got time to watch the music. Bottom line is this: you're gonna have time for something. So you can't tell me you got time for nothing. You got time. You're gonna have time to do something here. And I put it together, and I said, listen. When I started touring with it, I said to myself, I'm making sure that this message never stops. And I just put it out there. And I just rode that wave, man, because I wanted to make sure that people have something that's timeless.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A good message for people. And I love that you had the wherewithal and like the thought to like, you know what? I got to meet people on their level where like whatever their interest is. Like I'm the same way. Like I don't read a lot of books. I listen to audiobooks more.
Yeah.
Right? Do you have an audiobook?
Audiobook coming soon.
Yeah, I think we talked about that on Thanksgiving.
November 25th is coming out. Yeah, November 25th is coming out. Yeah,
I'm gonna keep my eye open for that for sure.
Yeah.
I still got to get a hard copy of the book.
Man.
I definitely will. But I think that's awesome that you like went and you're like, let me tie in all these different platforms, all these different kind of outlets with the same message, and kind of just put it here so you can absorb it and like take it in whatever is your preferred way.
Yeah, man.
You know, because you're right. Not everyone's gonna sit there and read a book or watch a documentary or listen to music, but one of those things, you're gonna have one way you're gonna want to take it in.
Yeah. You're gonna have to get it one way or the other, bro.
Yeah,
you can't run from it all, man. You're gonna have to. You ain't got time for the film. Hey, man, pop in the music, man. You ain't got time for the music. Hey, man, pop in the film. You know, hey, dude. The medium is the most important thing for me was making sure the message gets out there. Yeah, make sure the message gets out there.
You're maximizing the way to spread it.
Yeah, man. Most important thing, because I gotta meet people at a level where they can relate to something. Not from my personal view, but from what they want to see.
Wow.
Yeah.
No, that's sick, man. Man, I honestly, I barely got through half my questions because we were just like talking.
But keep asking, man. No problem, bro.
No. This is great. Like this is the way I prefer it to go. You know, not have to have like question answer. You know, go down these different paths, hearing how you think, hearing how you speak, hearing how you talk. I think is super important for people and myself. Like I learned a lot in here just listening to you from your experience. Like I try to take it in. Like I never want to be one of those guys. Like I'm still young, I think. Well, depends on who you ask. But I never want to be one of those people because I met them where you stop learning or you want to stop learning and you think you know everything. I was young once where I thought I knew everything and then I was humbled and then I learned my lesson and now I'm like, you know what? I can learn something from like every situation. And so I appreciate you coming in here, making time, you know, to talk about entrepreneurship, talk about your journey, where you came from, you know, what you're interested in. And man, I feel like we could have gone deeper on all those different topics we were talking, man. But, you know, then people got to tune in for like a 6-hour podcast, you know, but hey, we still got some more stouts, so we'll probably be all right.
Yeah, man.
To kind of wind this down now, so you wrote the book. What goes into, because I have no idea what it takes to write a book, you know, what goes into your writing process when you came up with the concept and wanting to write the book? And like you started with the book first?
Yeah.
So started with the book. Yeah. What was like, what's your kind of writing process?
Like I don't take the pen off the paper until I reach the end of the margin. That's the technique. Like you don't stop writing till you, like when you put the pen on the paper, you can't take it off till you get to the end of the margin. Then you gotta start again, and not to the end of the margin. So I don't stop. When I say if I'm writing on my page, I will not stop writing until I flip that whole page. That's the rule of the game. That's how I write. I don't stop writing until the page is filled.
And did you have an editor or somebody to help you edit it down to like try to concise it, or is it literally just everything?
When I finished writing everything, and I broke it down, and I realized this is what I want to put out there, that's when I got an editor involved. I got an editor to edit grammar and spell check and things like that, but not to edit content.
No, I knew all content straight from you.
Yeah.
But did they take like, I have this problem where like, I'll use too many words. Like I feel like I overword things. And sometimes like it's easier to like say it in like a certain point. Like, did your editor help with that at all too? Making it more concise?
No.
Or was it literally just like you wrote it out and it was like perfect in that respect, and they just kind of helped with like the grammar.
The funny thing is that the person who edited my book, my God bless her, my wonderful lady, her husband is a Canadian award-winning writer, and I had no idea until I met her. Shout out, God rest his soul, he passed away, Alan Gould. His wife Merle Gould edited my book, and not too far from here too.
Nice.
They're on Bathurst, and we're on Bathurst.
That's right around the corner.
Yeah, they're not too far from here. God bless that lady, man. She edited the book for me, and she encouraged what I wrote, because I thought I was giving her like I was like, man, maybe I need to kind of take out this thing, and then she was telling me, no, put like the raw content. She wanted me to she was pushing me to say like, get more gritty, get more rough with it, because she was so intrigued by what I was saying.
Yeah.
So she was very, 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 very. She's very inspirational when I wrote the book, because I didn't want to. I was saying things in the book that she was like, no, keep. No, that's what you need to put out there. Put that out there.
Yeah.
So she never tried to edit the content. She was like,
nice.
Like, put that out there. She told me to my face, no, put that out there. I might even put that. They need to hear that. They need to read that. And I was like, thank you. I was like, okay. So I never content-wise, nah. The raw content went out there, yeah.
That's got to be like a reaffirming thing when she's telling you, and this is your first book you wrote?
Yeah.
See,
Yeah, man.
First
Yeah,
book
man.
you go in,
Yeah, man.
and she's giving you this kind of feedback where it's like, you got to keep all this, you got to keep this. Because like I imagine like once you found out that, her husband's this big award-winning writer, you're like, oh, what is she gonna, you get a little in your head.
I did. Cause when she told me when she introduced her husband, I'm like, what?
You're like, shit.
Ali, I'm like, oh. Someone's gonna tear me limb by limb. Like in my head, I'm like, dang. But then she came back and she was like, no. This is incredible work. You need to tell you, speak your truth and talk. And I was like, well, okay. And it really gave me that sense of confidence I needed to say, I can put this out there. I let it ride. And it's what at the end of the day inspired me later on that I can keep going by making the film and the music, because I kept thinking that when you have something that you create in front of you, man, you got to learn sometimes. A lot of us, we block our own creativity because we're sometimes afraid to take chances, but you can't, man. You got to gamble on yourself and roll the dice and keep going, because you never know what's going to take you to that next level. Yeah, man.
And that must have been one of those like moments of like fuel where you're like, yep, I'm on the right path.
Yeah.
Another one of those, like there's so many, but like getting those is so crucial. And being aware to pay attention to that, how important those little moments are.
Yeah.
Which built to where you are now. Wow, man, no, that's awesome. It's incredible to see, all your different avenues and like how you started and how you had that kind of idea from the get-go to like be an entrepreneur, do your own thing, follow your passion, follow your creative endeavors. Because like, you kind of mentioned it before, but so many people just get away from that and they're just looking for that monetary or quick come up, and you're like, you know what, if I stick to the path that kind of feeds my soul, at the end of the day, you're at least going to be happy.
Yeah, man.
And then, the dollars will follow.
Yep.
Hey, man, I think this is the way to end it. We'll get you back another time, maybe talk more about entrepreneurship. Because I think people could, we talked about it in this a bit, but like, maybe more so next time.
Yeah.
So thank you for joining us on the Let Me Say It podcast. Is there anything you want to plug right now for the people? Let them know.
Man. Yeah, I gotta plug the fact I dropped the NR City EP. It's out on YouTube. Joel NR Powell, JOEL space NR Powell. NR City EP, 4-track EP. That's out there right now. I just dropped last night.
We Cry Together.
Yeah, We Cry Together. Yeah, that song is a song that actually is a true story. I have a moment in my life when I kind of went through a dark moment, and that's I'm gonna put that out there too. That was a true story. Yeah, that was a true story. Everything I said was a true story in that track.
Sick.
Yeah.
Wow.
I could spit that verse word for word and it's a true story because that's what happened. But it's like on my way exactly what I said, man. Right outside of church,
Wow.
Yeah. So to God be the glory, I'm still here. You know what I'm saying? It was a different moment, it was a dark moment. And I've overcame it through the grace of God. And in the day I decided to put that track out there because I wanted people to understand that there's highs and lows in this world, but I'm still here. So I overcame it and I'm here. But I want people to spread that track out there, that We Cry Together, Joel NR Powell. Shout out, Alchemist, wherever you are in the world, producer. You know what I'm saying? Alchemist, I see you working with Rocky Marciano. I see you working with Havoc. I see you working with Raekwon. Come work with the Joel NR Powell, bro. I would love to connect with him because he produced that beat.
Yeah,
he produced that beat for Kendrick, so he can produce a beat for Joel too. Yeah,
big up Uncle Al. We got to get him up
here. Yeah, man, get Alchemist. Come on, man. I'm reaching out to you, man. Respect your work, respect your productivity. Would love for you to hit me up. I would love to do something with you, man. I'd love for you to check out that track. Help a brother get some streams, please.
Let's go. Yeah.
Hey,
man, I appreciate it. It was great chatting with you. A great podcast, man. Anything else you want to share? That's the bread and butter right there.
No, well, overall, man, I want to shout out, man. I want to shout out someone that really and truly, man. I want to shout out NR Entertainment, Natalie Ninja, the first lady. Shout out to him from my heart to her soul all the time. I want to shout out for the love and support always, 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 always. My left and right hand. You know what I'm saying? To make sure that the movement continues and make sure the fire is always blazing all the time. You know what I'm saying? Some of that drive up the wall, and some of, you know what I'm saying? I do. I'm stubborn like a rusty nail. But she now leave the superstar side. So, it is what it is. So big up. I have to shout out, man. I can't lie. He's your cousin, but I call him the Don of Scarborough. Father Bradley, You know, I gotta put that out there, man, because like we never touched on me and Brad's relationship, but
No.
like me and Brad is like Brad's my brother. You know what I'm saying? He's your cousin, but that's my brother, man. You know, that's my brother, bro. You know, Brad's my brother because me and Brad, oh my gosh, me and Brad, man. Too many stories.
Yo,
man.
next time I'm gonna get both you on here and we'll all three of us will sit down.
You need to get more. You have to get some Guinness and some Dragon and some roots.
I told you I brought the one Guinness for him too, but
man,
he had to go to work.
Yo, Father B, me and Brad is the most kind-hearted human being I've met in my life, in the essence of a man to a man, all the time. You can always know Brad's gonna be Brad. Brad left me. Father Bradley left me. No way. Brad is a man that has and I say this on a level, and this has to go public because what people don't realize is that Brad and the late great R.I.P. Mikey P. You know, I'm a bridge man. Rest in peace, Mikey P. Man, Mikey P. and Bradley introduced me to Scarborough. Yeah, I'm a West End dude all the time, and them two man introduced me to Scarborough. Them guys said when I came to Scarborough, it was to see Mike and Brad, Kennedy and Eglinton, and Mike's mom's apartment. Shout out to Tina. Big up Mikey's mommy, Mama T. Big up that lady.
Yeah.
We used to go there and...
Because Brad lived there.
Brad was there for a hot minute, man. Yo,
because I remember him, we'd go over to my Aunt Joe's for dinner and he'd just come across
Bradley,
the street.
Man, shout out to Cassie, the dog, man. Cassie, God rest her soul. Cassie passed away, man. But yo, man, Bradley, man, we used to have, me and Brad. But one of the things I have to say straight up and down was that Typhoon Sound and me, shout out to Junior B, Justin, Real Youth, always, man, we're a family, man. We're a family. We're all like if Brad need a shirt, him get that shirt from me. If I need that shirt, I get that shirt from Brad. Like that's the bond we have. Outside of music. The bond is bigger than music. It's of love and respect because Mikey and Brad introduced me to the independent grind. By taking a lot of the ideas I had in my head, they showed me how I can actually take it out there. Because Mike, I don't know if you ever met Mike before?
Yeah. Actually, I could tell you a story. He gave me some weed at my at Brad's 30th birthday in my backyard. And then the next day, I left it in my pocket. I went to my girl's house and I get the call from, what do you I found this in your pocket? I was like, oh, fuck. Yeah, but shout out to Mikey P, man. He's a beauty.
Okay, Mikey P's a weed, man. Can't lie. Mikey P love him ganja.
Me too.
Mikey P a good youth, man. But Mikey was a technical dude, man. Mikey introduced me to the printing game.
Yeah.
The Epson printer and rigging it with the systems to avoid buying ink. That's what Mike introduced me to, yeah. Yeah, man. And that changed the game for me. That Mike showed me how to print on my own CDs. Mike showed me how to buy the CD and print it, you press it yourself and do it yourself and all that. And that's what got that out there. The 7 issues EP. That's what got my 200 plus mixtapes out there. Mike showed me how to do that yourself. Mike showed me how to print up your own designs, yourself.
Wow.
Yeah, man. And I don't care what you do in arts and entertainment. If you can't control your product and where it goes, you ain't reaching nowhere. And Mike showed me that, man.
Wow.
Mikey showed me that. God bless him, man. Mikey showed me that. Next month's gonna be, let me see. Next month's gonna be 14. Yeah, 14. Oh, wait. Next month, let me see. 13 years, man.
Wow.
Since he passed, man. November 27th. The great Michael Palmer, man, And Father Bradley, he Bradley showed me a lot of documentaries. He knows what that means. Yo, Brad knows. Just ask Brad what I mean by documentaries. I can't say that on the air right here because
I get a sense there's a lot of stories that we probably can't say on the air when it relates to Brad. But
Brad, I'm a Don, man. Love Father be forever, man.
Maybe on the next episode you can explain to me how you got the Don name and where that came from.
Oh man, the Don at Scarborough. Yo, man. Okay, I'll tell you why I call him that because you can. Let me say, you ask Brad anything, boom, he has a link to it. That's why I gave him that name.
I believe it.
I said, Brad, yo, you have it. Done. Brad, done.
Yeah.
Done. Like Brad always has my back and he always will find a way. It's like Tom, the Don of Scarborough, because he's like Like the king.
That's like a cheat code you have.
Like Brad is a man that. Like, you ever watched the movie King of New York?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like Frank White. The man that controls everything. I don't know how this guy gets access to all these things, man.
Oh,
but
man.
my brother forever, man. My brother forever, man. And shout out to my brethren, Marley, the dog. I'm Brad's dog, Marley. Marley's my friend, man.
Oh, the dog he has now.
Yeah, dog he has now, man. Marley.
I was like, what?
No, man, Marley's my friend, man. Big up Marley. Marley. Gigos. Marley. Gigos. Yeah, man. Love and blessings, man. But yeah, man. Big up man like DJ Wiz. Yeah, big up DJ Wiz, man. That's my boy right there. But with the showcases he's doing right now. Big up DJ Wiz. Big up King Yellow, man. You know, big up DJ Yellow. Has a book out straight out of Compton. That's the next friend of mine, DJ Yellow. Good dude from NWA. Big him up right there. Yeah, man. I'm big up all youth and youth who I try. You know, I'm big up my brethren Jermaine and the Silver Fox, Cincy Media, the Den Show every Monday. Big him up, you know. Yeah, man. Big up all youth and youth who I try, man. And anytime you need me to come back, bro, I know you haven't even crashed the surface, man, but we have a whole heap of thing. But, you know, big up to everybody, man.
Yeah, no, man. I appreciate you coming out. And I'll leave it on one thing just because you, like, put it so nicely. The way you talk about, like, your friendships is, I had someone say to me once, they said, friends are the family you choose.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
I love that quote, yeah. Friends are the family you choose. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, with my life, yes.
You know?
Yes,
like,
bro.
we don't get to pick our family. God bless, I love my family. But like, you know, those relationships that you pick because it's like you picked them.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, not just because you feel like, you know, we're related, but it's like,
man.
So, nah, man, that's awesome, man. You got a lot of great things going on. Definitely want to get you back in here again, talk more, get you in here. Now, I'd probably be probably fun to get you and Brad both in at the same time, bring up some old stories.
Yeah, man.
And, you know, we're going to share all your links to all your stuff in the bio.
Yeah,
and hopefully get you some more streams and get some more stuff popping. But,
yeah, man,
you're doing great things. You got a powerful message. And, hey, man, appreciate you coming in, brother.
No, man, love and blessings, bro. Anytime,
Appreciate that.
anytime, man.